All right, Super Bowl week is. Oh, I'm sorry. It's FPF calling the audible.
Yep.
As we are in the basement, not in South Florida like everyone else is. As we're in lovely St. Leonard, Quebec, which is far, far away from South Beach.
At least there's no earthquakes here.
Thankfully
That's
not.
the only at least there is.
Or iguanas falling from trees.
Or infected beers.
That's not
Corona.
nice. That's not
Get
nice.
it?
Yeah, we
You get it?
We get it.
It wasn't great.
It is what it is.
We were talking off air about research for what again? I came in and we're talking about something that said Eagle researched that for us.
Jaguars players.
No, I had the questions for our guest.
You prep questions?
Yeah, well, it's easy. It's online, man. I'm going to kill him on this. He's not... look, okay, Nimrod Jenikovszky will join us at around...
8 o'clock.
8 o'clock, so in half an hour's time from now.
We have Tam Vilaydeth at 9 o'clock, and we got William Power at 10.
So we have that
Power
lined
hour.
up. So hour number one, it's Nimrod Jenikovszky. He's a big Jacksonville Jaguar fan. So I'm going to ask him 10 Jaguar questions on Know Your Jacksonville Jaguars. I think Peeze will get more than he will.
I wasn't listening already. You said Jacksonville Jaguars. I stopped listening.
I know.
It's like whenever Jacksonville Jaguars are on Red Zone is the time I used to go to the washroom.
By any chance, are any of the questions about grooming a mustache? Because then you might actually get it.
Yeah, but he said he's the original Jaguar fan. So we'll see.
He's the original. He's the first one.
Maybe the fourth one. I don't know how many Jaguar fans are in Montreal.
I also don't know.
I know of one, and we'll talk to him in half an hour.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I still know who he is, by the way.
don't worry, you'll see him soon enough. Okay, just a quick heads up. We are now through 4 weeks. That means 4 games are done. There's 6 games left. I always do this every single year as a reminder for teams out there. You need 5 games to be playoff eligible. So that means you want to give yourself at least a week of grace in terms of spacing. So if you want to get a new guy on your team to be playoff eligible, we would recommend that they start playing this week, week 5, moving ahead here. So remember, 5 games required. There's 6 games left in your season, so please have your players eligible. And this, make sure to contact Eagle with any questions if Peeze was not on your roster, but was on the roster.
We do have a rules document available under the captain's tools to read through all the roster regulations, jerseys, all that type of stuff and everything. So if you have any questions, that's a great place to start, and then feel free to follow up with the league and we'll answer any specifics you have.
That's right. And, of course, we're doing 6 and 6D, and that's where we're looking at because, again, new teams or newer teams tend to forget you need 5 games eligible, and with 6 games left, you might as well get your new guy the extra game to work with. All right, let's dive into it. Week 4 that was. And 6 and 6D, Peeze, let's dive into 6. What caught your attention? I saw some games that caught my attention, but I'll start with you first.
Trap Stars beat Average Joe's. Ignacio Valdez Manzanato is having a decent first season at the quarterback position. Threw for a ton of yards, was moving the ball. The difference was, of course, the interception by Ryan Garber. Ryan Garber, just a strong, steady game from him. I had 6 runs to supplement the passing. Ryan Garber is a very good athlete. We've talked about him a lot last week, but I wanted to focus more so on Average Joe's because they've been having a pretty solid season to start. And again, they went into the season looking for a quarterback. Then they decided to go with one of their own, and Iggy, as we know him, member of the media. He took over the quarterback. He's thrown 16 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, first 4 games. It's a great start. And coming into this game, Average Joe's were undefeated, so undefeated no longer as the Trap Stars get the win.
Now, as I make a crooked eye towards our screen, the Geratron 6000, am I seeing things? He threw for 224?
That's right.
You are seeing that because it's on the screen.
That's right. And Ryan Garber threw for 157, even though they scored more points.
Well,
So
he
was
added 37 yards on the ground
Right.
as well.
And a
So-
pick 6.
So pick 6. Okay, I wanted to make sure about that. I was like, "Whoa, that's really efficiency at its finest." Like Jimmy Garoppolo up in here, but we spoke about Trap Stars in past, and we spoke about Average Joe's in weeks past here. Both teams are good. I think Trap Stars have improved dramatically from the week 1 loss that they had, which I watched, and from where they were to where they are now. A month later, Peeze, I think they are much better. Could very well be a contender in the whole Div 6 playoff.
Yeah, I like both these teams.
ordeal.
I like both these teams.
I think Joe's. I know they were playing St. Laurent, but I saw the game last week. They have a good blend, but I just think they need to be more consistent with their play selection on offense because I think they go deep a lot,
Yeah.
quite a bit. And I think that's where a team can say, you know what, we're going to drop 3. Beat us underneath if you can. And I think that's where I want to see them help diversify their play selection and say, you know what, we can mix it up here. And if they can do that, Peeze, I think they become even more lethal on offense.
Well, that's a common thing with new quarterbacks is they want to go for the big strikes often. I agree with you. I think especially given what they have on the roster, I want to see more efficiency from Ignacio Valdez-Manzanaro. We haven't seen it just yet, but I do think he'll learn as it's going, and I think we'll see some soon from the new up and coming quarterback.
All right, the game that I saw was not much of a game. I thought it'd be a lot more closer in competition, which it was. And Space Apes crushing Kings of the North. So the Apes are the Kings of the North as they win 39-0 over the very nice uniforms of Kings of the North. Your boy, and we'll use this last name because you botched it for this one player, Charles Duchesne.
It's probably his brother or cousin or someone related.
Look it up on...
Because JF is on this team, so likely they know each other.
What's that family online tree, like family tree, what's it called? Where you can find out, hey, your ancestors originated from...
Ancestry.com?
Yes, look it up, please.
Really? You couldn't get that?
Anyway.
So Eagle, pay for an ancestry account for the Duchesne family.
Yes, please. If Simon
and find out where that name is from, because it's very exotic.
Yeah.
I feel like if I were to look up Moe's family tree, somewhere would just be a bunch of people in a vat of brains or something.
What?
Huh?
Studying it for complete and utter stupidity.
I was not going to get that. You need to.
Yeah.
If you need to explain the joke, it wasn't.
I was writing it as I was saying it.
Yeah, you botched that with the eagle. You pulled an eagle on that one. All right, so
an eagle.
So the Apes win this game 39-0. This wasn't even close. This was a game outclassed. I know Danny Ostigui and Philip Osson.
So you have Jeff Delos in Div 6. And he has one catch.
But he's not even a prime target for this. Terry Bablis had a really good game playing both ways. Yeah. Delos had end zone INT, and this was no competition at all. I think Kings of the North were outclassed in this matchup from start to finish.
Is Guillaume Dagger related to the Chris?
I believe so because Chris Dagger's friends with JF Delos.
Could we get a headshot of Guillaume Dagger to see if that is a connection there?
If the Dagger runs in the family.
Yeah, we can perhaps do a headshot comparison.
No way I can tell. I don't know. I'm not good at this game.
Oh, boy. I don't know if he is.
Guillaume Dagger, real player or fake player?
That's a real player. We're not doing that this week.
Probably the same person, same family. Well,
yeah,
Space Apes, we want to know.
They're all interlinked. So anyway, this was a really good victory for Space Apes. I think that they're in a tight race right now before we hit the quote-unquote bye weekend. And I think they need this win more than Kings of the North. And I think Kings of the North will rebound from their putrid.
Not if play this way again, man. Like, Phil Ossan had less yards than attempts. I don't think I've ever seen that.
Yeah, he got sacked a lot, though. He got sacked
4 times.
4 times. Lost.
Yeah, that's not good. That doesn't make it better.
No,
it means you found other ways to not move the ball.
No, if you look at the breakdown of team stats here, though, I mean, 184 total yards to 57. And Kings of the North ran more plays, which is a good thing.
Not necessarily.
I mean, you try to find positive here, Peeze.
They also punted 3 times. That's pretty bad.
Yeah, punted 3 times and threw 3 interceptions.
Yeah, they did. That wasn't good. Anyway, Kings of the North humbled, and then they have to go back on the drawing board to figure this out because they could have lost this game by 50. Space Apes had chances in the red zone, couldn't convert when they had to, but a big win for them. Other games that caught you attention, Peasler?
Absolutely, as he loads the tab for 6D. Yeah. I got to start realizing you're wrapping up sooner and open the tab. Believe the Hype beat up on Diablos. I noticed that. Believe the Hype wins 38-12. Now, Diablos, I believe some of the members of the team were on vacation.
You jumped to 6D, by the way.
Yeah, I did. Yes, he said, let's go to 6D.
I missed it. Continue.
I'm trying to. The tab's not opening.
Right here.
There we go. Can you scroll down? Yeah, so one of the names you'll notice right away, François Martin is not there. And Son, who's usually the quarterback, was not there because they're all on group vacation with Marc-André Desaulniers as well. Louis Bégin was there as well. So you see in this game Alexis Bissett throwing. I don't remember Alexis Bissett ever having to throw before. Believe the Hype are a very athletic team, so you can't give them extra possessions. Alexis Bissett given 2, and Believe the Hype just walked all over them. Good game by Jacob Solis. He really seems to have turned a corner. He's improved as a quarterback. He's running a lot less. He was just patient and finding his man. And a lot of times that was Jackson Roy Herbert for long strikes, and we see that on the scoreline here.
Well, the Souls line family lineage is a very prominent football family in Montreal and Quebec, so not surprised by Jacob Souls' production on the football field, going 13 to 15 for 172 and 6 TDs. So very impressive by him in the victory. Other games that caught your attention, Peasley?
That's weird. In a much closer game, the what could have beens beat the replacements 38-33. A lot of games we played today, by the way.
Yeah, who's scorekeeping the games in the West Island?
We should call Simon. We'll see if he's scorekeeping.
We actually got the list this week, so Simon did his job.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. We got Faizan, Dylan, and Noah are currently scorekeeping tonight.
So can we call one of these guys up and ask what's going on?
We'll plan to call them for the 35-plus games. That way we can get a little bit of insight in terms of what's going on. But I'll check in with them for other stuff, too. Yeah.
So Frantioli Colatrelli's been playing much better this season, and this is the kind of game like you just very effective. He did throw the 2 interceptions, but was moving the ball well. Sean Brown's not a guy we know a ton about yet in FPF for what could have beens, but what could have beens seem to be a very strong roster. They were just put into 6D because we don't know a lot of the players on the team, but what could have beens basically now are 4-0. And Eel, do you know what the least amount of points they've scored in a game so far?
For what could have been?
Yeah. But don't look it up. I'm asking you. You don't know.
You asked me a question.
I was going to get you know.
So how am I supposed to know when it's a rhetorical question
or a lookup question? The question started with the words, do you know? So do you know?
I can find out.
So the answer is no.
If it's Vigo, I mean, when do you know?
30,
you automatically
they have scored no less than 30 points in any game this season, 30 being the lowest against SAFTB last week. So
Saturday for the boys.
Yeah, we don't know much about them because it's not familiar FPF players, but we're learning about them very quickly.
And what makes it even worse, they're going to play in the Siberia of Montreal, Big Durfee and Laval.
What?
They're playing the Siberia of Montreal, Big Durfee and Laval. So.
It's the worst. It's the worst. But, Caleb Ferdinand, we know from FPF Junior, he's a stud. He's a big part of this team. But a guy we don't know at all is Regis Kuda. And so far in the season, 16 catches, 6 touchdowns, 317 yards. So to have 16 catches and be averaging nearly 20 yards a catch is pretty impressive.
So this is a prime candidate for promotion to Division 6 playoffs.
Perhaps, yeah.
Yep.
Strong candidacy. But who's the one that's overseeing the selection committee so we can explain?
There's no selection committee?
There's rules in place in terms of how it works.
Perfect.
Peeze wrote an article. If you want to,
it's available on Flag Plus Football, and you'll see that on our Facebook page as well. It's not that article, but if you click on my name, you'll be able to find that article as well.
All right, Nimrod Jenikovszky will join us at the top of the hour in about 50 minutes from now, and we'll do Know Your Jacksonville Jaguars with them. Let's dive into the topics here. Space Apes, of course, we talked about them.
There's the graphic mode, just to sorry to interrupt you, but just to break down the playoffs. So you see there's teams from Division 6 that are being relegated to the 6D playoffs. And
the top 2 seeds of each conference, basically. So Conference A, Conference
You're saying the opposite. I'm saying from 6 to 6D, some teams are relegated.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Sorry.
Which teams are those?
So it would be teams 13 to 16 of Division 6 based on total seedings across all teams. Mm-hmm. Those would be relegated to 6D playoffs. And then the top 2 teams of each conference in Division 6D get promoted to Division 6. That being said, we are giving you home field advantage when you actually do get transferred over. So you're taking seeds 5 to 8. And the teams that are being relegated are also losing any type of advantage. So they're going to be the away team in seeds 9 to 12.
So I have mixed feelings about how this has been so far because we saw already a flaw in the system last year.
Oh, yeah.
When Andel Thomas Gordon's team, whose name I'm forgetting at the moment, it was a season of some sort. went on to win the championship after they played horribly to start the season, worked their way up into the relegation zone, and then just smashed everyone in the playoffs. So look, this is the second year we're trying it. Hopefully it works out better. If not, we're going to look at other ways that we can look at. I think one of the things we need to do is evaluate strength of schedule when doing the promotion relegation as well. And we'll look at that in future seasons for sure. If anyone has any suggestions, by the way, please feel free to reach out to us. We don't pretend to have all the answers. We're just guys.
Simon Dagenet does.
Well, yeah, but Simon Dagenet obviously has no answers. That's why we fired his ass.
You can't say that on air.
That's why we fired his
Bleep.
self.
Bleep.
We do have a few comments in chat right now.
Oh, do we? From who?
Alexander Bacalani says, old washed-up finesser spanked the young and cocky ZTs in Division 4B. Never
We will
forget.
get there. We will get there.
Eventually we'll get there.
And Nimrod Jenikovszky says, might be the only one. Probably referring to something that you said earlier.
Jaguars. Jaguars football fan. All right. Look, Space 8s, they have Average Joes coming up here. If they were to beat the Average Joes, do we paint them in a different picture that, hey, they could perhaps be one of the favorites?
If who would beat the Average Joes?
Space Apes.
So I like Space Apes. They have FPF lineage. They have a couple of guys playing from the Jagerbomb squad. It's a same family tree. They're a team where even if they don't have as much talent as other teams, will learn quickly because of their FPF experience. I think it's a good combination of everything. I think they're one of the front runners, regardless of what they do against Average Joes.
I know we overreact, but
I never overreact. I only underreact. So like the house is on fire, I'd be like, it's still going to be on fire after lunch.
It might be charcoal by the time you're done lunch.
Listen, man, I like smoked stuff.
You do.
Give me some brisket.
Brisket. Can I ask you brisket?
I know you don't eat pulled pork.
No, I don't.
I'm a big pulled pork guy. I love it. But if I was out with Moe Khan and we decided to go to Peeze barbecue in Savannah or Atlanta, although the one in Atlanta recently burned down, I hope they've rebuilt it. But if we go to Peeze barbecue, Mo and I would we'd at least go halvesies on a couple of brisket sandwiches.
Yeah, we could do that. I've actually cut out red meat, actually.
You cut out red meat.
Yeah, so far.
Don't go to the South. There's nothing for you.
Are
there.
you trying to spite him? Or?
No. Okay,
to be honest, I've cut out a lot too, but not when I go to the South. I'll tell you that much.
No,
would you have like smoked vegetables or like barbecued?
Chicken, but
chicken.
Smoked chicken's not as good.
Not the
Like,
same.
there's other nothing beats a pan roasted chicken breast. I love breasts of all types, but pan roasted is amongst my favorite.
Very delicious.
On top of Miami stripper breasts.
Of course, South Beach is where we're supposed to be. Okay, look. So Space Apes, we both think this game's coming up. I believe next week, Eagle. If we get the schedule up here for 6, Space Apes will take it on Average Joe's, which I believe is next week. Or
I believe it's after the.
Yeah, so
It's
one
after the
thing
bye.
for people who don't know, because, again, Division 6, there's no games on Super Bowl weekend. So there's games on Monday, Wednesday, but there's no game Saturday, Sunday, because we all know people are busy not playing football. They're watching it instead.
Exactly.
That's right.
And
So,
if you don't know,
now
you know.
This also kicks off our Hall of Fame week. So we'll be announcing some more details soon about
yes,
that.
the
3 Hall of
watered down-
Famers in this room, by the way.
The watered
Correct.
down Hall of Fame. That's right.
3, not in the media section, of course, because we're
All right, so
excellent.
even
And is Tam in Hall of Fame?
No.
yeah, I think he is.
I don't
no?
believe he is. Check this tab.
I'm going to check.
All right, look, I know we had the whole promotion relegation for playoffs here, but let's just say, argument's sake, if you go to Conference B in Division 6 Eagle, if you don't mind.
Checking on Tam first. No, he's not in yet.
Perfect.
I didn't think he
Maybe
was.
this year.
Perhaps, yes. Okay, look, we go to the Division 6 Conference B standings right now.
Oh, 6?
Yeah. As we get the overview of that. Scroll down a little bit. Okay, look, so you have perhaps MacDo, who might get into the playoffs as an 0-10 team.
Well, no, because they could get eliminated. Because remember, only the top 2 teams of the conference take the top seeds, and then
Right.
afterwards we sort the rest from 5 to 20, pretty much.
But-
It's the bottom 4 that get eliminated. So not necessarily 2 teams in Conference B, 2 teams in Conference A. It's a full resort.
But let's say MacDo gets in as an 0-10 team.
It's possible. Yeah, it's possible.
Theoretically, they can. At the moment, they can.
Lammoth Pajamas lose, Wolfpack lose, Stop Whining lose, Menace to Sobriety all lose,
Well, but
and theoretically
at
they
some
could.
point, Llama's Pajamas also plays Wolfpack. Men's Sobriety plays Stop Whining. These teams play each other, so
Yeah.
They both forfeit.
I don't think it's possible. I don't think it's
I'm
actually
hoping
possible.
we have a team that's 0-4 in this playoffs. I really pray.
But I don't understand what's happened, MacDo. I played them in the playoffs like last winter, and they were a good team.
Yeah, they didn't play well yesterday. on Wednesday night. That is,
But they haven't all season, and they're not allowing a ton of points, just not scoring.
No. And if you look at, you can see the progression from the 1 seed. I know Petraplan and them have had difficulty scoring points, but you see it just going down and down and down. And MacDo is not keeping up with the Joneses right now. And that's where kept their game. They weren't good 2 weeks ago.
They lost to Shambo, who's been an underperforming team. When you look at, they have Jonathan Perez throwing, they have Jacob Boydman, Ari Vazov. It's a good team who's just not been playing well. In this game, they get away with a win by literally just shutting down MacDo in the second half.
I was going to say, Shambo has almost the same number of points for and points against, yet are 2-2, and MacDo is 0-4.
Shambo's got a good squad, though.
It is.
They do have. They have some really sneaky under the radar guys who are good, quick, and they tackle well.
Yeah.
They flag well. I don't want to use the term tackle and give off the wrong impression. It's a tackle football league.
But the stat is tackle.
Placky.
Yeah, exactly. Look, Trailer Park Boys. Can we get the picture of the Trailer Park Boys, please, if you don't mind? They are in 4th place. A fine, young-looking squad over here of 8 men who are from Sunnyvale, lovely East Coast Canada. Who looks like, from this team, the cast of characters from Trailer Park Boys?
Yeah, who's your Bubbles?
Well, it's tough because they're far too attractive. They need.
I got the Ricky though.
They need to consume more. Oh yeah, the Rickies are obvious.
Yeah, the Rickies are obvious.
What's that dude's name? Eagle, the guy bottom right on his
bottom
knee.
Right, yeah. Right knee down.
Get that dude a flame shirt.
Yeah. Please, a Hawaiian flame shirt. Doesn't what's the fish to have a whole bunch of Hawaiian shirts?
That's Brad Evans. Brad Evans,
yes,
you need to borrow
please.
some of your Hawaiian shirts.
Yeah.
Get one to this dude. Also, he needs a driveway made of hash.
We can arrange for that.
He's in the right city.
I'm literally going through every single player on the roster.
He's not there. That's our Ricky right there. Who's our
Antoine? If you're watching, you got to follow up.
Who's our Jim Leahy?
Jim Leahy.
I think the guy in the middle.
The actor passed away, by the way.
Yeah, I know. Ray May, God rest his soul. Top row, 3rd.
I'm just going to name random guys. Mark Etienne Simard.
Yeah, that sounds like
he's the Leahy.
That sounds like a Jim Leahy.
Yeah, just based on name. And look at his picture on the site.
Yeah,
there
that's
is
a
none.
real Jim Leahy right there.
So,
yeah,
unfortunately, it reminds me of the fact that the actor played Jim Leahy as John Dunsworth, and he passed away.
He was phenomenal as an actor. All right, so let's look at the team as a whole.
I can't tell you who that is. It's one of the no-name picture guys.
Antoine Meunier, please fill us in with your choices for your Ricky, Julian, and Bubbles from Trailer Park Boys.
All right, look at the roster. They're 3-1 right now, 4th place in their division. We haven't talked much yet about Trailer Park Boys, but so far, they've won some close games. They've had some easy ones against Menace to Society, but look at their schedule coming up ahead here, Peeze. Potatoes, Refrigerator's been much better. Master Coins have been a good team. I saw them play last week here. So they do have some tough games on their schedule, but with 6 to go, and I believe that 3-1, I think 7 could be doable for them as 7 wins.
I think so. I like Trailer Park Boys a lot. They do something that in low divisions isn't seen often. They play very aggressive in the flats.
They play defense.
They play defense, yeah, but they play very aggressive in the flats. A lot of division, and they have athletes that can play safety. So what happens is quarterbacks that aren't skilled play callers will struggle throwing against them in the flats, and then they'll air out deep passes because that's the instinct that a lot of Division 6 quarterbacks have, and it leads to turnovers. Their defense is tall. Their defense is quick. They have 6 sacks already by Will Richard, who's a very, very good rusher. But a lot of that has to do with the fact that they take away a lot in the flats early, and they're a team already that's combined for 7 interceptions so far in the season.
Well, you know what? Their last game of the year, Week 10 on March 11th, will be against Space Apes, and that will be that could be for playoff seeding, a higher ranking seeding in the playoffs, wherever they land in the whole process right now. Nimrod Jenikovszky joins us in a couple minutes from now here on Calling The Audible. Look, 6D quickly here because I want to talk about 7th rounders. Yeah, Nimrod's going to come on. 7th rounders. They are actually related to Space Apes with a couple of connections over there.
They're from the cloning grounds that Jaeger-Bomber from?
Yeah. Are they a first-round talent team? Because people are some guys are high on 7th rounders being a legitimate threat in the 6 playoffs coming up.
Well, they've played 3 games, just like they had.
They've won all of them with no points against.
They have allowed no points. So yeah, they're good. They're really good. Now the teams they've played against so far: Saturdays for the boys,
Buccaneers much better now.
Here for the beer. 3 of the weaker teams. Goon Squad again, a struggling team. Lionhearts will probably be their first test, and they face what could have been in week 7.
I don't trust Lionhearts though. Since the change in quarterback, it's just not the same team.
It's weird.
Yeah.
It's weird.
They missed that brave heart in them.
I don't really know what their plan is, but they seem to have one, and they're trusting it. So
They're missing that.
They need their Mel Gibson pre-racist remarks.
Yeah, yeah. They're missing the. Well, like England separated from the EU, right? The UK, so they're missing that, man. So anyway, we'll see what happens with that down the road. Look, other things here. Buccaneers, they found their footing. They've won 2 in a row. A much improved team from where they were 2 weeks ago when I saw them play. Could that carry for them though for Buccaneers? Because a young team learning how to play. This is a team that had 3 guys with pockets, and they're lost in their opening game here. But Buccaneers looking like a much better, much improved team. Perhaps they figured out how
so
to
they
play
beat
football.
Here for the Beer. Here for the Beer aren't the same level of athletes as Buccaneers. I'm proud of them for getting their first win. It's awesome. They have a ton of speed. They have a ton of talent. They need someone to tell them how to play FPF because they just a lot of times don't really know what they're doing. The play calling is not great. They're going to win games where they have by far the best athletes. Last 2 weeks saw them facing off against Mountain Goats and Here for the Beer. So their first one actually, was against Mountain Goats. I misread the score sheet. But those are teams they should beat just because they have the better athletes. That's not going to be the case for the next 2 to 3 weeks as they face Le Stud, what could have been Zangoon Squad.
Well, look, they go one more ahead, Barry, and they have Fafnor and Laval. Let's welcome in
It's a weird
Nimrod
thing
and
to bring up.
Jenikovszky. Nimrod, good evening. How you been, sir?
Hey,
Nim.
how's it going, guys?
Not bad. So, Nimrod, can you just get the proper pronunciation of your last name, please?
Jenikovszky.
Jenikovszky, okay. I like Jenikovszky better, though. It's like
Uh,
Jenikovszky.
whatever works for you guys.
All
Which
right.
one do you like least?
The one that Peeze says.
I
Which
say
is what?
Jenikovszky, so you don't like your own name?
No,
What's wrong with you?
I like it when people butcher it.
All right.
Does that motivate you, I guess? Does that fuel you to prove everyone wrong in the football field? Is that what it is?
Doesn't take much, but yeah.
So here's the question. The first question I have for you. It's a great question. It's probably the best question in the history of questions, as far as I'm concerned. I think the thing everyone's asking themselves, which is the same thing I've always asked myself, is who is this guy? Because I've never heard of him.
You serious?
Fair enough. Well, new to Montreal, moved here from Ontario 2 years ago. I've been playing football since I was 18 in flag, touch, high school football. Love the game, love flag football. And the people that know me, though, are people that play against me, 100%, because they remember that. And I just love to have fun, man. I leave it all on the field. You guys know I play with a lot of emotion. I don't hold back. And, yeah, that's pretty much it. You get all of me every time I get on the field.
I am teasing, of course. Nim, you've also done some coaching for us in FPF Junior. You've played now. It's I think probably your third or fourth season in FPF. It's cool that you enjoy the league the way you do. It makes it easier for guys like me and Moe to do what we do when guys are passionate. And again, I've coached FPF Junior. I know what it's like. So the fact that you're willing to give up some of your time to do that is absolutely amazing, and it's truly appreciated.
Oh, not a problem. I love it, man. I mean, I love coaching. I love being around the game. My oldest son, I have 5 kids.
Yeah.
So my oldest son is playing in FPF Junior, and that's my time with him, kind of thing, to bond, and just the progression that all the kids have made on our team from the beginning of the year to now is just unbelievable, and just love to see that kind of progression.
So, Nim, we were talking earlier about your game this week with the replacements versus what could have been. We're just saying about, they're a team that's getting better week in, week out. What's going on with you guys, though? Because you went off to a really crazy start, putting up 53, for example, against Saturdays for the Boys. And then you dropped 2 in a row here. So what's missing to try and get you over that winning hump?
Right now, we're just trying to figure things. Scoring points has not been a problem for us. We've been filling the stat sheet. As you guys can see, Frank's leading the 6D in passing yards. So it's not about moving the ball on offense. It's about getting the stops on defense when we need to. Yesterday was a great game. Again, it came down to pretty much the wire. We gave up a touchdown late in the game where we defensed the pass in the end zone and we knocked it down, but we knocked it to one of their players who caught it in the end zone for a 2-score lead. And
Yeah.
I mean, that kind of took the sails out of us.
Yeah, when you look at, I know we're only 4 games through, so there's 6 games left, but now we look at this being the turning point of the year, right? Midway point of the season.
Right.
When you look at this right now, is there a team that you fear or you worry about saying, man, they might give us fits at some point on our schedule as we move along towards the month of February?
I got to be honest, I don't know too many of the teams in 60 because there's a lot of new teams, a lot of new faces. I mean, from what we played right now, the most athletic team we played are the team we played yesterday. Those guys are just freaks. They're great talent. They're young. They got height. They got speed. They got everything you're looking for to have a dominant team. And I think they're gonna cause some noise going down the stretch, and they'll probably end up in Division 6 in the playoffs, and even their challenge for the championship. But other than that, I mean, we're not afraid to step on the field with anybody. We can hang with anybody. We've shown that we can put up points against anybody. It's just our defense that we got locked down. And frankly, right now, from what I know of the teams that were coming up on our schedule, there's nobody that strikes fear in us.
So, Nim, do you think that you guys are worthy of being in the Div 6 playoffs once the season's all said and done?
We have to let that play out. I mean, we have to earn that spot. Right now, the last 2 games, we've been close, but haven't gotten over the hump. So it's about making the adjustments that we need to be able to get over that hump and stay and finish off close games instead of losing close games. And it's going to come down to the last 6 games. We'll do our best to do what we can do and let the cards fall where they will. But wherever we do end up, nobody's going to want to face us. I'll tell you that much.
Nim, you've in the time you've been in FPF, you've played with some pretty good quarterbacks, some newer and developing quarterbacks, like when you played with Tropic Thunder, and then you played with some established quarterbacks, like you played with Jordan Rossi in Smoking Axles, and in the tournament you actually played with Stephen Harpersad, who's he's becoming one of the more established quarterbacks in FPF. What's it been like to have a different kind of role, a more perhaps a bit of a teaching role now that you're playing with, let's say, a guy like Frank Tioli-Colatrella, who's still developing as an FPF quarterback?
It's been amazing. I mean, just being able to play with all these different personalities, and they all have their own personalities, and each of them have their own go-to kind of game that they're really good at. And just to see the progression, even from Tropic Thunder, Tyler, he's come a long way. I mean, I remember even last year when we played together at the beginning of the year, it was really rocky. And you just saw progression even throughout that year, and now he's carried it through to this season. And it's just, I'm really proud of the guy. He's put in work, and you can tell. Mind you, if we played him in the playoffs, we're going to shut him down. But that's besides the point. In regards to Jason Rossi, he's obviously an established quarterback. He's one of the top guys in the league at that position with his feet and his arm, and he's a character to play with. Absolutely, me and him butt heads a lot, but that's just both of our fiery personalities. Frank's come a long way. From what I know from last year, they had trouble putting points on the board with the replacements. Glad to see that that's changed this year, and that's got a lot to do with his decision making. He's been making the right reads. He's learned to look off receivers, which have caused a lot of mismatches and a lot of open guys easily making catches. But just playing with everybody, I'm kind of like a football whore, to be honest with you. I love moving around to different teams just to see, play with different players, meet new people. Because, like I said, I'm new to Montreal, so it's hard for me to say that. I work from home. I have my own business, so I don't go out to an office where I can meet people.
What's your business?
I do legal transcription work for Ontario courthouses and stuff.
Cool.
So if you get a DUI in Ontario, know that Nim is going to know all about your business.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
you're like the littlest hobo then.
What?
Pretty much, yeah. Like, I mean, honestly, I could I want to play with all sorts of different players. I want to get to know everybody,
Got it.
and I just love the variety.
So Nim, I know you were talking about
Not like that.
loves
Not
it.
like that.
So you were playing. You mentioned Jason Rossi before. So you're actually going to be having a game in 20 minutes from now with Pacemakers in 35 plus. You guys are playing the MTL Spitfire.
Right.
So I kind of wanted to get your feel in terms of how 35 plus is at, because every week we've been trying to get Simon on the phone to kind of give us a breakdown of what's going on, but he's unavailable. So what does 35 plus? I guess what's the big differences for you, or what are you seeing in different trends, or just the people you're playing with? Like what's it like?
Man, honestly, I know you guys like to throw shade on 35 plus, but man, it is
I really
competitive.
don't.
I
It's
actually
just
do.
Mo.
You guys
I actually
do
do.
all the time. all the
I
time,
actually
bro.
do.
I never
I
do.
admit.
It's the
I
opposite.
do.
No. I said, first of all, the only thing I said is Kirkland Division, you have trash names. But I've actually said I've been impressed with the quarterback play specifically in 35 plus.
Because it's 35
At the end of the day, everybody's a baller in 35 plus. Like you look at 6D, who leads the league in touchdowns? 235 plus over guys. Me and Rob. I mean, there's talent all over the field when it comes to 35 plus. So age has nothing to do with it. We played the young kids yesterday, and ask their guys how we played. You know what I mean? Like, it's not about just athleticism. It's about your knowledge of the game and route running and all that stuff, knowing how to get open. And
Ballers-
35 plus is filled with those guys.
Ballers indeed, but are the ballers affected by gravity? Because 35 plus,
Yeah.
old guys.
Yeah, sure.
In some
So,
situations, yes, absolutely.
Nim, I don't know if you know this. I'm gonna let you and the rest of the world know that you and I are part of the same club. I don't know.
Oh,
I
yeah?
don't know if you know this. The club that we're both a part of is
Dollar Shave Club?
no longer. I got a safety razor. It's beautiful, sterling silver. But the club that Nim and I are part of is My God We Married Women That Are Far Too Attractive for Us club.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, we married
Oh.
up. Good job. By the way, high five. You're not here, but
High five.
straight up high
I got
five.
you. I got you. Oh, 100%. My wife is beautiful. Love her to death. Superwoman, super mom. I mean, how else can I play football with 5 kids at home? You know what I mean?
So you guys are saying that.
Super supportive.
So you're saying the Wives are the Jimmy G's to you guys being the Tennessee Titans offense then?
Right now, pretty much.
Yes.
I don't even know what that was, but yeah. Good job answering them.
So, who do you think is the bigger supporter? Your wife to you or you to the Jaguars?
My wife to me.
So, your fandom is not that amazing.
Yeah,
though.
you're not a great
Yeah,
fan.
I was
You should
like,
maybe take a
okay.
lesson from your wife, dude.
Exactly. You know, you wear
Come
the
on.
Rams jersey.
Bottom line is, I go home to her, not to the Jaguars. So I got to pick my poison.
point.
You might have to go to London for the Jaguars starting. in
She
2023.
loves me in
It's
spite of
better
the
than going to
Jaguars,
Jacksonville, though, so I'd rather go to London than Jacksonville.
All right. Let's do the Know Your Jacksonville Jaguars with Nim Jenikovszky. Eagle, by chance, last second, can we get the game show theme music in the background? Or is that legally not allowed in this?
I can probably find one.
Okay, get the game show. We'll get this up running here.
We'll wait in silence.
We wait in silence as we will get Eagle to get the game show theme song going on here, as we will do Know Your Jacksonville Jaguars. Peeze, would you like to partake in this as well?
Absolutely.
Okay,
Absolutely.
so
yeah, Mo.
I don't know if you're watching Nim, but he can't see my screen. I can. So I'll ask the questions to you and Peeze. And I'll have you answer first because you are the actual Jaguar fan. Peeze is a fan to the team down the I-95, the Miami Dolphins.
A team with actual history.
Exactly. Not much, though. Of late.
Perfect season, bro.
And
Is
just to give you guys a heads up, I'm not on Google. I'm not going to be researching anything. I'm
That's
flying
okay
off the
because
cuff here,
you won't have much
lay it
time to
on me.
answer. Okay, so
Okay, we
here go.
condone cheating here on Calling the Audible.
Question number 1. Who does the Jaguars have the best win percentage against? Which NFL team do they have the best win percentage against?
Pittsburgh Steelers.
Moe Khan, I'm going to go with a team they don't play a ton against. It is the Buffalo Bills.
Incorrect, gentlemen. It is
right.
the Cleveland Browns with a 706 win percentage. The Buffalo
course.
Bills at 400. The Steelers at 500. So,
Technically,
Close
Nim
enough.
wins
well, I win that.
because he beat Peeze in this.
Well, yeah. Well, no, but was it more wins or most
Percentage. Win percentage.
Win percentage, okay.
Yeah, win percentage. All right, gentlemen. Let's move on to the next topic du jour here. We will do career leaders. So we're talking about career leaders in Jaguar history. So the question I have for you, gentlemen, is this. After Fred Taylor and after Maurice Jones-Drew, who is the third running back on Jaguar history for most yards in a career? Third most yards in a career for a Jacksonville Jaguar.
James Stewart.
I'm actually going to agree with James Stewart.
Correct. Both of you guys are correct.
That's
All
what I was gonna
right.
go with.
Yeah.
Way to get on the wagon there. Way to get on the wagon.
All right. Okay. So 1 for 2. Not bad, gentlemen. Not bad. Not bad at all. All right, gentlemen. Let's move on to the next question here as we do know your Jacksonville Jaguars. The player who has the most points scored in Jacksonville Jaguar history. So the player who has the most points scored as a Jaguar is who?
Josh Colby.
I'm going to go Mark Brunell.
Nimrod is on fire. 2 for 2 in the last 2 questions.
I was going to guess a kicker. I don't know if Josh Scobie was a kicker, but also I don't know any kickers. So I just went Mark Brunell. Maybe he was field goal kicker at one point.
All right, last question. Last question for Know Your Jacksonville Jaguars. Rob Johnson, who backed up Mark Brunell as a Jaguar quarterback, had his one great game and got traded to the Buffalo Bills. The Bills gave up their first-round pick. Who was that first-round pick?
Oof.
In 1998.
Well, you guys are
What
breaking
year,
up.
year?
1998.
1998. They drafted Eric Moulds.
No, Jaguars. The Jaguars.
The Jaguars did not draft Eric Moulds.
No.
1998, the Jaguars drafted Maurice Jones-Drew. I don't know, man. I'm guessing. I'm
Nimrod.
obviously guessing.
I missed the question because you guys cut out for a second there.
So
Who was the Jacksonville Jaguars' first pick in 1998?
that they got from the Buffalo Bills for Rob Johnson.
In 1998, first
Yes.
pick,
Yes.
Tony Boselli.
Oh, I'm sorry. Better luck next time. Fred Taylor.
Oh, Fred Taylor.
Yes. Tony Boselli was earlier
I
than
was
that. You're
so
right.
Tony Boselli was their first ever pick in Jaguar history.
Before we wrap
Right,
this up, Ryan Dobbs is in chat saying, I'm still waiting for my 1v1, Nim. So you have a challenger going on.
Anytime.
We'll do
Ryan.
trivia
I'm
with these guys on there.
You guys should
by
go on a
Thursday,
date.
Come by.
Get some seafood dinner.
Oh, of course. All right, Nim, listen, I know we got a game coming up here, so we won't keep you too long here, but thanks so much for joining us here on Calling the Audible. A pleasure, and look forward to seeing you at Wembley Stadium when the Jaguars play their home games in London in like 2024.
Hey, I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for having me on. It's one of my lifelong dreams, and one of my bucket lists is done. Thanks a lot.
Oh, boy. Not much of a
You
bucket
need,
list
you need a
here.
better bucket list.
Yeah, it's not really much of a bucket list when...
All
when you're-
upgraded. All upgraded.
But then
all
again, see,
upgraded.
I get it though. I get it because again, being part of the same club, once you marry up like that, your bucket list is pretty easy.
There you go. Yeah, everything else is just gravy.
Have a good night. Good luck in your game tonight, Nim.
Thanks, guys. Take it easy.
All right, Nimrod Jenikovszky joined us here. Not bad. He was... he had
How
two
could you
ver-
not pronounce the name? It's exactly as it's spelled.
I know. I just wanted
You
to-
literally pronounce all the letters going across.
I know. Of course.
Yeah, no, that was good. I enjoyed that. Eagle, where are my cannolis?
Came back from Seattle and I didn't have time to go get them. I'm sorry.
Where are my cannolis that I
You
can't?
can't eat them anyways.
Yeah, but I want to hit your pocketbook. I don't
I'm gonna
care.
bring 'em to you.
I don't care about the
You're
actual
gonna
cannolis.
get your goddamn cannolis, okay? They're
What?
coming. They're
Okay,
coming.
Oh,
fine.
they're coming. All right, so we're doing Div 3 now, I guess,
Yeah.
Eagles. All right, so let's dive into Div 3 and get into that division that we are going to cover now as we have, about 20 minutes left in the show?
Oh.
Hour number one, give or take. All right, so Div 3, Peeze, as I like to buy myself time and get the page loaded up here for Div 3 and games that we saw.
Let's start with what was the game of the week. Was it Malud? Wait a
Jagerbomb.
second.
Yeah, that's one.
No, but what was the game that was game of the week? Was Jagerbomb Malud?
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah.
I thought it was Labrum.
Yeah, but they're not Division 3. Are they?
Labrum are Division 3.
Hold on.
Oh, I saw a really good game, though. Junkyard Dogs, Backyard Bullies, if you want to start with that
Hold
one.
on. I'm gonna.
Oh no, that was from last week.
Yeah.
It's a week 3 game. Yes, because game of the week comes out a week later. Just quickly, we'll touch on this really quickly. Last play of the game, we saw a player from Labrum sort of make a play, like not even try to make a tackle, just lower his shoulder, and basically just miss the face of Ludwig Jananji
Oh,
with
boy.
a shoulder.
Don't
Michael,
wanna do them.
dirty play?
Dirty play.
Yeah, and Ludwig's not a guy that's very nice. He
No, but
gets very
Ludwig
upset.
was not in the wrong.
No, I'm
he-
saying that he'd get very upset. Like, he'd be very...
Well, I understand him getting upset when a guy tries to take a shoulder to my face.
Yeah, of course. Not good.
We're gonna see the play right here.
Ready?
Oh, man. Oh, man. Did he set him up, man? He had him lined up, boy. Look at that. If you move the autoplay back.
Yeah. Hold on. I'm gonna slow this down for you so you can really see it. So here we. Wait for it. Check. The slow motion's always the best.
Yeah, it's caught. Oh, man, that's ugly, bro. Look at that. Coming up here now, he lowers, and I think he realized, like, oh, bleep, this ain't tackle, and he tried to stand his ground, and Ludwig went right by him.
I mean, so luckily no one got hurt,
No,
but that's dirty play. There's no need for that.
no.
Just pull the flag, guy. It's
Yeah.
flag football. Relax.
All right, so the game that I saw. That's right. Easy Jake Oven against Trinity. This was a 36-28 victory by Trinity over Easy Jake Oven. And Jake Applebaum had a terrible game. I am sorry to say that, but it was an awful game. It was weird. Like, he ran the same play over and over again. He ran the same play three times in a row. And it was like Trinity knew what exactly he was doing.
What was the play?
Deep into Dondre Borden 300 times in a row. And then they reversed it to go from the right to the left side in, and it's the same thing. Got stopped. But Nick Jean-Valet, no answer for him. He had a monster game on both sides of the football. Applebaum, a lot of drop balls by EC Jake Oven. Trinity really capitalized on the mistakes, and they didn't look back. They had a comfortable lead, and pretty much you can ask anyone in EC Jake Oven, this was probably one of their worst performances as a unit. And you could sort of see a frustration being built up because they were kind of lax in their huddles and trying to catch up. And some guys on the sideline saying, listen, let's push the pace up here. And guys are, whoa, shut the bleep up. Let's just focus on what we can do now and try and rush things moving forward. So a big win for Trinity, a big loss for Easy Jake Oven.
So what's interesting about this Trinity roster is it's not at all what we've come to know as Trinity. Adding Nicolas Jean-Valet and Marc-André Lapointe, Alexis Gaumont as well. Like it's a good roster. Like there's some really good players on here, and we see that's helping with the development of Jean-Félix Marquis. So I'm happy to see that he's surrounding himself with talent that's apt for the division.
Well, by the way, big injury update in this game here. Alex Sampson took not a dirty play. Him and Angela Langberg kind of collided down the sidelines, and Sampson took a severe gash underneath his eye. And so I think he had to go to the hospital. We gave him like a bit of gauze, and he looked like the mummy afterwards.
Oof, that's tough. That's tough.
Junkyard Dogs, Backyard Bullies, a really good game. This is a fun game. I hope they reconnect in the playoffs here. Dogs win by 20. This game was quite the unique situation here. The Dogs jumped out to a 2-score lead. Bullies came back, and essentially they had a chance to go up in this football game, but Rich Humes threw a pick 6 in the end zone of the Junkyard Dogs, and they returned it back for 6 points, and they never looked back here. Even though Jason Rossi did not have a good game passing, that Dogs defense played phenomenal. Paul Lapierre really had everyone going, and there's this one kid on the Junkyard Dogs, gentlemen, who is really good for this team, Sio Vachon. This kid is incredible.
I was going to say, there was 2 pick 6s in the game. Sean Samarjan brought one back,
yes,
and Sio Vachon was the other one.
Yeah, that's at the end of the game.
Yeah.
But you know what? The trash talk with Rory Samarjan and Sean Samarjan with the Backyard Bullies was nonstop, and I hope, fingers crossed, they do meet up at some point in the playoffs if that's going to be feasible for that to happen, because this was a good football game, even though the scoreline is not indicative of how close it was for probably about 65% of the game.
I saw a bit of Martin Laflague against Lonzo Ballers. Martin Laflague are a really good team that have just had a tough schedule to start the season. Jared Taylor was all over the place. Quay Johnson throwing in place of his dad, who is not Lonnie Johnson, who's not at this game. And again, whenever you see situations like that, as talented as Quaid, he's super versatile and he can play at quarterback. You also lose him as a receiver, and
They get weakened.
it's just not the same team. Raf Dagenet threw one of the touchdowns on a 40-yard bomb. But yeah, so it just seemed as though with Quaid throwing, the only guy they can really go to comfortably was Jared Taylor, and they did that as often as they could. It was not enough to get by Martin Laflague. Justin Dion there was no answer for him. 4 touchdowns this game.
All right, so who do you have more sustainable? Who do you have more confidence in their success this year to be sustainable? KGP or Trinity this year?
So I feel like every season we start off talking about the flaws with Phil Cutler, and he always proves us wrong by season's end. That said, I talked about it earlier with the roster construction of Trinity, and I actually like Trinity a lot. I think JF Marquis is better than he gets credit for, and he's surrounded himself with a legitimate a roster full of players that'll help them be legitimate contenders moving forward.
I think Trinity has a good base.
You gotta slap the base, man. You gotta slap the base.
You can't. How about foundation? A nice foundation. A very nice
You
foundation.
gotta slap the foundation.
Jean-Claude Valet, I think, is the difference for this team.
Oh, he's a monster.
And you saw what he did for Vikings or Thundercats before.
I mean, I can even go on a personal level and see what he did for Moose back when he played for Moose.
Yeah.
He's a former teammate of mine. Nick's great, man. Like, he would do stuff like run the wrong route, be at the wrong spot, and then be able, just with his athleticism, to break back to the spot he's supposed to be at and get there in time to catch the ball. Like, he's just a phenomenal receiver.
He doesn't look like a football player.
No, but he was a top tier CJEP receiver.
Yeah, that's right.
Who then didn't go on to play CIS.
No, smart move by him.
Yeah, but but at the time he was like the next big thing in CJEP, right? Like he was really, really good.
Yeah.
So it's not surprising at all.
I think he'll make a huge difference for Trinity. I think KGP, we kind of know their ceiling a little bit here with what the R's.
Yeah, but again, what if Cutler goes and throws 17 touchdowns over the next 3 games?
Yeah, he could thunderbolt his way through and destroy teams, right? But the thing is, do we think is it sustainable for KGP to be better than what they are right now?
I don't think so. And we saw Trinity beat KGP last week. The thing is that, again, it's every time it never looks like KGP can do much. The roster's question marks, and can Cutler do it? And then he always pulls something up by season's end where the team just is clicking at the end of the season.
Yeah.
So that wouldn't surprise me either. Of the two, my pick is Trinity, but I wouldn't be surprised if I'm wrong at the end of this. So I'm hedging my bet. That in the business is called I Said Nothing.
All right, perfect. Commission, have they found the perfect recipe now with what they have as a roster? It's an ever-changing roster.
I was going to say, it might be an answer for one season.
Yeah, we'll get the roster out here for Commission. But, they have their quarterback. I mean, Korwalowski is definitely a better upgrade for them than the likes of Chris Olsen and Mike Mandel. I wish we had, a list of, quarterbacks for Commission.
It would look like the Dolphins quarterbacks.
Yeah, or the Cleveland Browns, right? But I mean, look, they have a good core now. McMahon, Bakken has put together a good roster with him. Angelo Morilatos is pretty solid. Kevin Donnett, very good. Keyshawn Myers, if he's going to be a full-season guy, looks like he will. They have, and Samir Dahab, who's played tackle football himself, they've put together a good roster. Can it all work? That's the key for this team right now.
Well, the key is Corey Woloski, in my opinion. And I was talking to Corey today as I wrote an article. One of the things I highlighted was his play this week. And he messaged me to thank me for the things I said. I was like, dude, I'm not saying anything that isn't true. There's not many players who I've seen develop as quickly as Corey Woloski in a short time. He was an average Division 5 quarterback, and right now he looks like he belongs in Div 3, and he looks like he might soon be too good for Division 3. He has a great arm, great play caller, very decisive decision maker, which is what you need at the next level because of how fast the athletes are. I like it. I don't know how long the commission can keep Corey Woloski in Division 3.
It's like that. You try to hold on to that free agent, right? It's that. Can he keep that guy on that roster?
Well, just because, can the commission compete with this roster in Division 2? No.
No.
But can they keep Corey Woloski playing in Division 3? Maybe. He's playing 3 and 4 right now, so next season I would imagine he'll probably be Division C, and he'll be locked to Division 3 likely by next winter.
Yeah.
And then are we just a winter, in two winter seasons from now, will Corey Woloski be a Division 2 quarterback based on his performance so far?
Based on the trajectory he's going, yes, you will.
It looks to be the case in my opinion.
Will he be the commission quarterback in 2 years from now or 2 winters from now?
Well,
I'm not
look,
sure.
if you're Brett Botkin, keep him signed as long as you have him Division 3, Division C.
Make him sound like a napkin. Oh, listen, you sign your soul to our roster for the next 2, 3, 4 years. I'll look at the schedule for the commission here quickly, Eagle. They should handle the Crew. Alonzo Ball should be a win. I think their last 4 is going to be really tough. Keyport Lock.
But you say that, but I don't think they're worse than Keyport Lock or Bearskins. I feel like those 3 teams are kind of the same, right? I can see them splitting those games because they're not worse than Keyport Lock. They're not much better if they're better. They're about the same. They're about the same as Bearskins. Teams that could be very good one week and teams that could struggle another week,
But the reason I see the last 4 is because I think Bearskins will be in a dogfight for 8 or one of the last playoff spots in Div 3, I beg your pardon. Malud's always tough. And
the last 2 games will be tough. Malud and Martin Laflag. Then Malud are probably the most talented roster, even though they're not playing up to necessarily their standard at this point. But Les Vilaydeth are, in my opinion, the most talented roster in Division 3. And Martin Leflag is nothing to sneeze at. They're just
it isn't.
fun, athletic football.
Absolutely. And I think, look, 6 games left. I think they can go 4-2, which would be a great number because I think they're 2-1-1, if I stand correct on that, though. So 4-2, they'd be 7-6-3-1,
6-3-1,
which would be good. I think that'd be good enough for a 4, if not 5 spot at that point. So,
I think so too.
Brotherhood, should we be concerned because they've only averaged 23.5 points per game? If you look at the standings right now for points for, this is a rare anomaly. When you look at it like a situation that it is right now, they have, I believe, 95 points.
Well, so I haven't talked to Theo J about this, but I feel like he's come to an understanding that in order for him to play his most effective style, he's not Marco Masiotra, right? Who he's played with for years and years. He's not a guy who can push the pace and be efficient and not make mistakes at this point in his development. So he tried to do that to start. It was decently successful. He's been incredibly successful by slowing things down and being very patient. That said, any team that doesn't score 30 points regularly in the regular season worries me heading into the playoffs. Brotherhood might be one of those teams that's matchup dependent because I don't think you can ride your defense through the playoffs completely. I think at some point you're going to be challenged by someone who's going to put up 30 points against you.
But, they have the horsepower to put up 30.
What, sorry?
They have the
horse paradox?
Well, no, the Brotherhood, they have the horsepower to put up 30
What's
points.
a horse paradox?
Eagle? Find out what a horse paradox is.
Please. They have the horsepower to do it, but...
Horsepower. Got it.
Yeah.
Nice.
But...
It's an actual thing.
What is it?
The horse paradox is a falsidical paradox. Falsidical? Falsidical. Falsidical paradox that arises from flawed demonstrations which purport to use mathematical induction of the statement, all horses are the same color. There is no actual contradiction, as these arguments have a critical flaw that makes them incorrect. This example was originally raised by George Pulia in the 1954 book In Different Terms. Are any n numbers equal, or any n girls have eyes of the same color, as an exercise in mathematical induction?
There we go.
All right. They have
Horse
the horsepower.
paradox. Now you know.
And what I'm trying to figure out for this team, though, is that if Theo's going to take the next step as a quarterback, and I think he's shown signs of it, I think it's going to be the short game that's going to make him the better quarterback because he always buys his time as he hops around and goes for the deep ball. He has game breakers, but I think the short game is going to be imperative for him to take that next
But
step.
we're already seeing that. We're already seeing him not take as many shots and again, slow down the pace of the game. I think the next step is for him to just be a little bit more decisive and not have to rely on his feet as often as he does.
All right, last question of the day here, Peeze.
For Division 3.
Division
We have
3.
2 more shows after this.
I know. We have 2 more hours of this. Unreal. The better receiver right now in Div 3.
Give me.
Raul Barudi or Dave Chidiat?
So Dave Chidiat has the cred of playing for Rainmakers for all those years, Division 1. Raul Barudi is a
What do you
relative.
think about Michael Chidiat? Dave didn't play that many years.
He didn't?
He had 1 season.
Oh, but he played Division 1 though.
A cameo appearance.
Yeah, still good. Look, he's good enough that he was, an effective receiver for Rainmakers. I'm not gonna lie though, I did confuse them based on name. But Raul Barudi is a venerable, unknown receiver. I like him a lot. He has a lot of raw talent. He could be used in a lot of different ways. He's quick. He's physical. Likes to go up and get the ball. Guy who works well in space. I really like his game. So give me Raul Barudi.
Barudi has averaged more than 50% of his catches have been touchdowns.
Yeah,
which is crazy.
Yeah, doesn't surprise me.
And you look at
it surprised me that that's the stat. But if there's a guy who can do that, it doesn't surprise me that it's Raul Barudi.
Well, it's even more crazier. Dave Chidiat, 60% of his catches have been touchdowns.
That has a lot to do with the Dirty Dogs offense, though.
Feeding him.
Yeah, feeding him and just putting the ball up. They put like Helinowski's not afraid to throw the ball up.
They just chuck it up in the air and Dave will snatch it down there. So you're going Raul Barudi. What about you, Eagle? Who are you going with? Chidiat or Barudi? Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
You're going both.
If you can.
Why not? There's enough cap space for both.
But if you pick one, you have to pick one guy.
Let's say you had cap space for one guy.
I'd probably take Chidiat.
By the way, looking at his numbers, congratulations, Dave Chidiap. 201 touchdown grabs. So he hit the 200 touchdown barrier not too long ago. 8,129 yards receiving. So he's on his way to 9,000. Okay, by the end of summertime. So Dave Chidiap, perhaps potential Hall of Famer, which, by the way, you can watch next week here.
You know what? Maybe. We might be doing that.
Maybe doing that here next week. So
we are doing that. We just don't know the exact format yet, but we are doing that.
So don't forget that.
Tell me if I'm working.
Next Thursday, Hall of Fame.
You probably are.
I'm not working.
We might bring Simon on. We might bring GM on. We might bring Rob on. We'll see. We'll see what's going to happen.
You can go with like the two most like lax microphone fiends and Simon and Rob. Like defending, we thought this guy was good, and Anyway, hour 1 in the books. Hour 2 upon us. We're switching up this time. We're going women's, co-ed 1 and 2. Interview with Terry Tam.
Nope. Tam Vilaydeth.
I know.
Well, why'd you say Terry Tam then?
Because you wrote Tam.
You wrote Tam. It's on you.
I wrote first names for all of them.
No, I'm just saying that. We call it...
You know who's on the show.
I know, but we call it Terry.
There's no way
Tam,
I can know.
Tam.
He's a professional.
Did 5A and 5B as well in hour number 2. And hour number 3, we have Will Power who will be on with us as well. So we have 2 more guests to go and oodles of divisions to cover in the next 2 hours here in Calling The Audible. So stay tuned. Hour number 1 in the books on this Super Bowl week as we're not in South Beach, but in St. Leonard.
Put the place up, yeah, we know what we made of. Can't get enough of you, boo, I'm a chaser. Face up, now I feel a little major. Blink of an eye, ego, I'm a taker, shaker. Yeah, she was a born shaker.
All right, welcome back. Calling the Audible, hour number 2. On deck, women's, co-ed 1, co-ed 2.
We're not on deck. We're in the batter's box right now, Mo.
We are on the warship deck. How about that? About to take off for hour number 2.
You have a good swing? Like if you go to the batting cages, do you smack him, or your hand-eye coordination is not very good?
Not decent hand-eye coordination. Switch it
So,
up.
okay, let's rank your ability in sports. Let's go football, flag, or otherwise. Hockey. Like, it could be
Cricket.
ball hockey, ice hockey, whatever.
We know you're not good at cricket because we quizzed you last year.
Yeah, we know nothing about cricket. We know that.
That was a horse bleep.
Baseball, golf,
Golf now.
and basketball.
Golf now.
So golf is 5, right? That's your worst one?
Yeah.
What's 4?
Probably hockey.
Can you skate?
Yeah, I can skate. What's the other ones?
Football,
Baseball,
flag.
basketball, football.
Baseball, basketball, football. I would go baseball 3, basketball 2, and then football 1.
Football is your best sport?
Well, just not quarterback. I was setting it up just for that one joke.
Yeah, exactly. I should have said football last. Yeah, that makes obvious.
Well, yeah,
that makes obvious
25%.
for that one. All right, so
Yeah, not much of a golfer?
no, I haven't. I just did driving range. I haven't never ever golfed. so
Really?
no.
Huh. We're going to get you out there.
Yeah, of course.
We'll live stream it.
Last stream it, hitting the ball in like Eagle's face.
Go to the Canadians golf.
I do. We don't golf. We just watch them.
Watch them golf.
Do they
Essentially-
suck as much on the golf course as they do on the
So this is
on
how
the
it
ice?
works. I went to my first one in September, and it's at Laval sur le Lac, I think, in the western Laval. So we went, nice golf course. So like fools, we all wait for them. Not fools. We all wait for them to come out. They have little podiums set up for them, one to the right, one to the left. Go up there. It's just like it is literally like a shipping container of people trying to get questions answered. Blah blah blah. They're out there. We're done by 10:45.
So how many good questions are there, and how many generic sports questions are there?
They're all generic sports questions.
That's the worst.
There's some good questions. Some journalists have some good questions, but generally speaking, it's a lot generic because hey, didn't make the playoffs last year. You're gonna make it this year. But this is from
Yes. Next question.
But you know what? In defense of what I do, those questions are from those who aren't the mainstream sports guys that cover the Habs on a regular basis. So they ask those generic questions, whereas the guys who do cover the beat will ask more in depth, try and dig deep diving type of questions here.
Yeah, but I need to know if Bergevin is more a sandwich guy or a hot dog guy, and nobody's given that answer, Mo.
I'll ask him at the.
Please do.
I'll ask him at
I see him as a
postmortem.
sandwich guy though, but like a pressed panini though,
I can see that. See that.
He might look at me. He doesn't like me though.
or like an avocado wrap.
It's okay. Montreal doesn't like him.
Well, some people do like him.
I know. I'm not a fan.
Not
He's
that
jacked though. I'll give him that.
he lost a bit of muscle mass. He's a little bit more
Did he?
leaner than before.
You gotta get back on your roid cycle, man. Get back on your roids.
I don't know
Bergevin.
about that.
You're not being
No comment on that.
Listen, Mo, I could be journalistically irresponsible. So I'm the one making the comments.
Don't look at
He
me.
gave them up this year so he can give it to the players instead.
It's not working. It's not working.
They keep getting hurt.
Yeah.
All right, so let's dive into women's and get into co-ed 1, co-ed 2. Tam Vilaydeth will join us in about a half an hour.
I got some information. I was talking to Constance Miller. We're supposed to be on the show. She is going to reschedule with us. I'm looking forward to talking to her. She's been
schedule with us, and we schedule with you. That's how we work here at Calling The Audible.
or like whenever you're free. We'd appreciate it.
Let's don't need free.
I'm a fan of Constance Miller. I really like her since my time covering, doing some of the play-by-play for co-ed in the past. I was a fan of her. She broke down a little bit of the teams. It is 5 versus 5.
Yes.
And it's on a smaller field. It's as long but not as wide.
So how do the sidelines work then? Do they use pylons or saucers?
Not sure. Because the reason why is that it's the same format that they use in the World Tournaments. And in Florida, in Montreal, like the tournaments they use is exactly that. And it's sometimes in an indoor gym where it's 5 versus 5 as well. So that's why it is that. Fleur de Lis were always the favorite because you're a jerk and you looked at the rosters ahead of
No,
time.
first of all,
Like a jerk.
Let's clarify one thing. I didn't look at any rosters. I had no idea there was a women's league until Eagle told me like week 1, hey, we have a women's league. We do?
I like Moe Khan admitting to I didn't do any research. I did it
though. I said, you know what? Let me go with this team here.
I just got clarification. We use cones to shrink the sideline.
Okay, perfect. Is that from
Thank
Rob
you for
Capana?
whoever gave us clarification.
Is that Rob Capana?
Perhaps.
District
Oh,
and
he's going to kick my bleep after what I said right now, not knowing we had a women's league. All
so
right.
District and the new Fleur de Lis team went to the national championship last August. So they're going to be two of the stronger teams to be expected. Football Canada chose 24 girls to create 2 teams that would compete in the Texas International Bowl, which is the 12th, 13th, and 14th of January, which is why the season started later than EFPF core divisions. Team Canada will choose 15 girls out of the 24, more or less. So that part's not confirmed, to go and play in Denmark next August. And Team Texas is basically the Quebec portion of Team Canada that played in the International Bowl, and they have girls from different Quebec teams that were at the Nationals. So basically a lot of this is related to helping the teams get ready for the world competitions, most notably the one coming in August that's going to be in Denmark. Hopefully our girls will do as proud as they always do.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
So now you know a ton about the women's division.
Yeah, I was just trying to process the Denmark, Texas events and trying to,
No,
They
the
are
team is
countries.
called...
There's what?
They are places in the world.
Yeah, the
Yes,
team
I
was
understand.
called Team Texas, but they're largely the team. I think. I mean, if I got that right, we'll get Constance to give us
Constance
some
will
more
come on with
information
us.
about that in the future. But honestly, like super happy she reached out to me. She basically sent me a message saying, "Hey Peeze, how's it going? You don't know shit about the women's division. Here's some information to help you."
And she was right.
She was right. She was
Oh,
right.
she's
Well, it's
absolutely right. We
look,
had
it's
no idea what's
new.
going on.
in the core divisions. We have how many teams that we're covering each week?
6.
200 and
All of them? 220.
220 teams in just the core divisions. So adding the complementary divisions.
No, 220 including them.
It's not easy. 35 plus plays the night we do the podcast, so it doesn't help us
And
at
all
all.
the women's games are at PAPS anyway, so we're not at PAPS.
Yeah, and we're stretched a little thin. So any help we get, whether it's, by the way, if it's from the core divisions and we say something in the show that you think we got wrong or you feel that we're not talking about your team, we just may not have had the opportunity to cover you yet because, again, we're two guys, 220 teams, I guess 3 including Eagle, 220 teams plus, let's say, some 35 to 40 complementary teams. That sound about right, Eagle?
You know what? You should just put on the screen, Eagle, 2 dumb guys not knowing what's going on in women's right now.
Well, I mean, I just did. I just broke down
You
all
just
that
broke it
information.
down. No,
about
but
the,
look,
Worlds.
Look, there are some talented teams, but there are some teams that do need help, right?
Mm-hmm.
We look at a team such as the Rookies who are 0-2. If you have to score a point, we've not seen them yet here. But Peeze, in this context of you and Eagle being the Jesus Christ of helping out teams who are wounded and need to get cured and healed up here.
I am Jesus Christ. Who is Jesus' producer?
Judas?
Yeah, so you're Judas.
So
People keep telling me be careful with you, but I don't know why.
So what would you do if you were to help them out, Eagle and Peeze, with this team not scoring a single point yet through 2 games?
Well, so they played Team Texas, which again we established as they're going to be one of the front runners. They played District next and Fleur de Lis in week 7. So week 6, I think, is their chance to get a win as they play Huntsic girls. The biggest thing has been obviously they have not been able to score. Elizabeth Fossier needs to have an offense that better works. She's only completing 37% of her passes. They need to find plays that they can run on a consistent basis. It could be as little as 2 or 3 plays. A testament to that has been Division One's Montreal's finest. For years have been famous for running 3 to 5 plays a game total. And they run them over and over and over. And it's about the fact that they can execute properly, and that's what's been important. So if they can find, let's say, somewhere between 3 to 5 plays that they can execute on a consistent basis, I think that's going to be key. Judas?
I would agree with all that.
Are you sure about that?
I mean, it takes chemistry. It takes getting used to the game. If you already have football experience, it's just adapting it to, this level of competition. And just, start off simple. Start off very... all hooks, for example, is the classic play. Run all hooks all the way down the field, and until they adjust, you keep running all hooks, and you find the open person.
Tell me. You're dumb. They know what hooks are.
No,
not
not
saying to
necessarily.
dumb it down. I'm just saying, like, if you're
we
not
don't-
completing passes,
No,
you're
but
not
like
driving
to
a field.
Eagles' defense, we don't necessarily know their background in football. We don't know how well they know the game. For all we know, it's a team similar to Div 6 that's talented but just doesn't know appropriate concepts and stuff. So maybe something as simple as all hooks, not knowing that's something that's typically run.
Can we get the box score for Team Texas and the Rookies to get an idea of total plays ran by the Rookies in their loss?
It was rough. Definitely a rough night out.
27 plays.
27 plays. So this less than 3 yards per play.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not gonna.
And if maybe it's a team that can run all hooks properly, but then don't have plays that can create separation, move ball down the field. At which point you need to sort of understand plays that create motion, create sort
Crossing
of
patterns,
natural
crossing
picks and so on
levels,
to free up your players.
I believe there's an error on the PAT when they didn't score any points. How did they have 0 for 5?
I think that's a bug. It's still not polished. We're working on it.
I hope so. Okay, better offense.
Or maybe you just entered points, PATs.
Don't look at me. I wasn't
It's
in the
probably
PAPS. I wasn't in the PAPS at all.
If there's stat problems, guys, there's always Mo's fault.
Yeah,
not
at
my
all
fault.
times.
Never mind.
Doesn't matter who your scorekeeper is, it's Mo's fault.
It's never my fault.
So
All right.
better offense.
Team Texas or Fleur de Lis in this whole process right now. Both teams are scoring a lot of points right now, and I can hopefully taste that nice Duns meal we'll have on April 5th.
Yeah, I'm going to lose that bet. Unfortunately, it appears as Huntsic girls have only scored 9 points. But again, resilient. I believe in my Huntsic girls. While we always talk about Vanessa Berry's accomplishments, Sarah Parker is an equally accomplished passer for Team Texas. The team is really good, man. Honestly, you can't talk about one team without talking about the other in the same breath because they're competing with each other. Emma Racine has been the leading receiver for the team. Just put 15 yards a catch, almost 16 yards a catch is a big deal. But a name we remember from their time in co-ed, Marie-Lou Bellin, who's just a phenomenal player on both sides of the ball. Sure tackler, plays a lot in the flats. We've seen her rush before, and just a very talented receiver. I like this offense overall, and I want to shine the spotlight because I feel like we like it's just easy to talk about Vanessa Beery's and like talking about Vanessa Beery and her offense is like talking about Kevin Wyeth and his offense in the height of Montreal's finals.
So Vanessa
right?
Beery is the Kevin Wyeth of
She is
women's-
absolutely,
women's
absolutely, and
football.
I
Sure.
think Sarah Parker's gonna have something to say about that. You know what I mean? She's gonna be the one to challenge at the throne, I believe.
I know it's early in the stages of women's flag football in FPF, but I just hope, well, not for my team because I want them to go as far as they can so I can get that dinner. I hope we have like anarchy of like upsets.
Hunts of girls, turn it around, baby. I know it's there. I have trust. You guys, it's coming. I know it. Don't worry. I believe in you guys.
Wise words from Peeze, Della, Reeze on that one.
It wasn't wise. It's just belief, man. Belief.
All right, we'll get more into the women's as we move along in the season.
Also, I
and-
can't be Flag Jesus. We already have a Flag Jesus.
yeah, that's right, Matthew Wool.
You gotta. I'm like Flag Buddha, perhaps. Eagle's still Judas, though.
We're also going to have one of the referees for the women's division who's going to be joining us in a few weeks to also give us some insight. So I just found out right
Who's
now.
coming on?
Not now.
Which referee?
Referee Lemise.
All right, fair enough. Perfect.
Great.
So we'll definitely get more full throttle and get things rolling with women's coverage in the next in the month of February. We'll be much more immersed in that one. All right, co-ed 1, co-ed 2. What caught your attention, Peeze, in terms of the co-ed games that happened on the week 4 slate of games last week?
In co-ed 1, Party Mix beat Third Down for What, which I don't know if it's entirely a surprise, but it's surprising to me in any case, just because we've seen Third Down for What and how effective they can be. And Sarah Parker, who we just talked about, Franca Delorier had a great game at quarterback, and Emma Racine, who we talked about in her role for Team Texas, she was the one who did in Third Down for What with her 3 touchdowns. Honestly, really, really great effort on behalf of Party Mix. I'm pretty impressed. I didn't think this would be much more than like a little speed bump for Third Down for What, but instead they really got tripped up in this game.
I know Third Down for What is in second place right now, and look, this is a team that does have some pretty good talent to work with, and it would not surprise me if this ends up being your co-ed final in April. I think both teams are the cream of the crop. I think they're both regal in the way they do.
Although, again, Power Rangers has shown in the past that they're a team that can compete against some of the best teams. We see here they lost 30-0, but that appears to be a forfeit.
That is correct.
Yeah, they were over the cap.
Oh, how can we over the cap in co-ed, man? You should
Well,
know the rules.
players have a cap rating. And
I know. But you know what? The good news about co-ed right now, at least co-ed 1, is that 1st to 5th is a 3-point gap. So no one's really running away with this division so far.
Oh, but it's early. There's only 4 games.
We're
And I don't think
halfway through the season.
yeah,
It's only 8 games.
It's only 8 games. That's right.
Oh, that's true. It's only 8
So-
games. That does make a difference.
So that's why I just think now, as we move to the next 4 games on the schedule, and I know all 8 teams do qualify for the playoffs, I think that it's going to be matchup dependent for the meat of this standing. So it's 3, 4, 5, 6, and what they do. And I think they want to avoid playing each other. And look, avoid playing the top 2 of this division, because I think those top 2, top 3 will have an easier road getting to at least rounds 2 and 3, moving towards the final.
Yeah, I agree with that. And again, like I think we might see, a pretty straightforward first round, but I think second round of the playoffs for co-ed is going to be absolutely, absolutely awesome to watch.
Co-ed 2, games that caught our attention from that week.
It's a match took a beating from ATH squad, Ath squad,
Or
Ath squad.
uh,
Yeah, I feel like I'm not pronouncing it right. Anyway, William.
Athabasca Oil Corporation.
What?
Not really, no.
All right, Athabasca.
It's the
Oil
ticker
Corporation.
symbol for them.
Well, for Ath squad, keep investing
All-time
in that
high.
oil. But yeah,
All-time high squad.
what?
All-time
high
high
squad.
squad, most likely.
I like the other one better.
or athletic squad.
Athabasca
Oil company.
Oil company. Alexi
Buy their
Labonte struggled where William Rodriguez was just efficient with the ball. And we saw an added score. Edward Gagnon brought back a pick 6 against Alexi Labonte. Alexi Labonte is a guy, by the way, who I've spoken to this season, and he says he keeps playing quarterback because he just doesn't have a quarterback. And I was like, yeah, it's a tough position to be in, to be like thrust in there and have to manage that when. Alexi's a very, very, very good receiver, but he's a guy who's sort of learning on the job as a quarterback.
If we get the standings up here for co-ed 2, I know we do it for 6D here, but is there a team in co-ed 2 that can compete in co-ed 1?
Well, ATH squad looks like they might be the one.
Yin and Yang is. I'm surprised they're still in co-ed 2.
That surprises me more than anything else.
I mean,
and not because they fit, but because you would think they'd want a challenge, right?
Right,
Yeah.
but when you look at this right now, yeah, I know we're halfway through the year, but when you look at this right now, I think there's some teams that could be competitive. I'm not saying they can win a whole bunch, but I think they could be competitive in co-ed 1 with some of the rosters for some of these teams, at least in the top 3, if not top 4.
So you're saying crossover games or promotion relegation even in co-ed, or what would you be thinking?
I think so. I mean, not maybe playoff format. You perhaps want to promote the top 4 because co-ed is one of those things where you want to keep everyone involved, right? You want to keep everyone locked in. So maybe you promote the top 2 and relegate the bottom 2 into the playoff systems.
Yeah. I saw the Jays Rhinos game as well. There are 2 teams at the bottom of the table here. Eagle. We talked about it last week. We talked about Hyman Long and why he wasn't being more effective. And having watched him, I wrote about this in the article I posted today, available on flyplusfootball.com. What I talked about in that article was that it seemed as though the players on his team aren't entirely comfortable, and there's a lot of concepts that he runs that are timing concepts. So just players are not hitting the mark when he expects them to. So he's holding the ball longer than he wants to. He's throwing the ball sometimes to locations where receivers aren't at, and that's why we saw Adrien Dusautois.
Le Bœuf Français.
Le Bœuf Français is a receiver you've played with for a long, long time. Do the lion's share of the work in this game, and that's the only way they were able to get the win.
All right, some questions here before we get to Tam Vilaydeth, who will be on with us in how many minutes, Eagle? As you gorge yourself in chocolate chip macadamia cookies is over there. Can you give us the ingredients on that back of the box of the cookie that you have right now, please?
What do you want to know?
The ingredients, please.
The ingredients. It's fucking cookies and chocolate. What do you expect?
The ingredient is cookie.
Yeah.
Wheat flour, shortening, white chocolate chunks.
That's good for your body.
Semi-sweet chocolate chunks.
Oh, that's even better.
Golden sugar.
Would you say Eagle's more of a white chocolate chunk or a semi-sweet?
Yeah, put
chocolate
that in the poll question. Eagle.
Yeah, actually, we need this as a poll question.
White
There's not
chocolate
just
chunk?
regular molasses. There's fancy molasses.
Okay, so
different
poll
grade.
question is: are you semi-sweet chocolate or white chocolate chunk?
Semi-sweet or white chocolate? Semi-sweet.
Well, we need a poll.
Put in the poll, please.
But I just
No, we need to know
No,
what you are, not what you like.
Yeah, please put in the poll question.
Are
please.
you a white chocolate chunk or a semi-sweet
Semi-sweet
chocolate
chocolate.
chunk?
All right, that's the poll question for today. Put that in the poll, please, if you don't mind, Eagle. Look, I know we spoke about co-ed 1 quickly here, Peeze, but do we have a bit of a chasm of the top 4 and the bottom 4 of co-ed
Well,
1?
definitely in co-ed 2. Definitely co-ed 2. Rhinos, Jays, Tigers, La Secte, A-Town. Literally the bottom half of the division. It's just tough because it's a matches experience. Yin and Yang is an experience. Kiss My End Zone's talented and experienced. At ATH,
Are they the best team, though, in co-ed 2, Kiss Man Zone?
I'd say Yin and Yang. Like, they've only allowed 38 points so far. They do have a loss, which is in itself surprising as well. It was a week 1 loss to Kiss My End Zone, though. So, also talented in Kiss My End Zone. I'd say that there's definitely, like, the bottom half of this division is going to find it tough.
Okay, when you look at It's a Match, they're sort of in the middle of the boundary line here. They could be in the penthouse or in the economy class here. It's a Match. Do you see this team being the upper or lower tier of this division?
They're probably going to end up in the upper half just because they face Jays and La Secte So I expect them to win those 2 games. So already being at 2-2, they'll finish the season at least at 4-4. So 500 season probably has them, basically where they are now. I think where they are now is where they'll finish the season.
Right. Speed Academy. Our thoughts on this team right now. We look at the roster for Speed Academy and what do we think of their chances in co-ed as Eagle gets it up and running here for Speed Academy. A team right now, I believe, Eagle, they are now what again? Just look at the record quickly here.
They are currently 2-1-1.
Yeah, 2-1-1. They've had some pretty decent wins.
Granted, over Power Rangers, I do believe they lost that game, but then they won through the forfeit.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Right, so
Technically, they're 1-2-1 in reality. So
1-2-1 in reality, but 2-1-1 in reality.
Well, they're going to face
In
Midtown
practice.
this week, which will be a good barometer because Midtown is one of the top teams in division. They got a win against Power Rangers, which again is a game they otherwise would have lost, and they don't face in the regular season. Well, they face Party Mix,
Yeah.
and they don't face Third Down for what I believe.
they already played them week
Oh, they already played.
Yeah,
them.
which they did.
which they
week
actually
3.
competed reasonably okay.
Lost by
So
a
they,
touchdown.
I think they'll be all right, but I think they're gonna be in those games like against Party Mix. They're going to against Midtown, against Party Mix. I don't think it'll be blowouts. I think they're gonna be games where they compete, but then just don't close out and
Right.
they'll lose that game.
And they did play Party Mix in week 2 and tied that one, right? So there is an expectation already set that they're equal-ish. So
Yeah.
it could go either way.
They're gonna be competitive. They're gonna absolutely be competitive. Their name speaks to what they are. They're a speedy team.
With a lot of speed to burn.
Yeah.
Tam Vilaydeth will join us in a few minutes here. In a couple minutes from now, we'll talk to him about Co-Ed 1 and Co-Ed 2. Could we drop in a couple of higher division questions?
You can ask him whatever you want.
Well, let's try and keep it to co-ed because we already have a lot
I
of
know.
coverage.
We have an inside joke, though, Tam and I. I don't know if I can bring it up on air.
You
Depends.
probably shouldn't, because then no one else is going to get it. Or then you have to explain it, in which case then you're that guy.
Yeah. I
You're
know.
Eagle from earlier in the show.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Do we have any comments on Facebook?
We do. Kernan McDoug wants on the show, so he's going to be on
Sure.
soon.
When?
And, well, next week of the week.
Whenever my secretary sets it up.
Exactly.
Simone Dagenet.
And I've been told I am definitely a white chocolate chunk. Who
Is this a poll question?
Who said that?
do you think said that?
My brother?
Mac Iraq.
It's one of the two. It's Matt or my brother.
Is
We're
it-
basically the same person.
Is the poll question up yet or no?
No, I'm not actually putting that poll question.
Why not?
I just told you.
Oh,
I mean, we could put it up.
we could put it up, though. We could put it up. Oh, we have our guest now. Tam Vilaydeth. Good evening.
Tam? We
Oh.
don't have Tam Villa.
We don't have Tam
We
Vilaydeth.
have him.
We don't because we said hello to him not once but twice.
Tam, you there?
Hello.
Hey, there we
Tam,
how's it
hey,
going?
hey, all right. Tam
Hey, how you
Vilaydeth.
doing, guys?
All is well, Tam? Hello, Tam?
Oh,
Can you
this is
hear
going
us?
to go great. I can't wait for this interview.
Yo.
Thank you,
Tam,
Eagle.
can you hear us now?
Make it work.
It works.
Yeah.
All right, perfect, Tam. Hello, Small P. How are you?
Just give me a second. Are we live now?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're
we're
live.
live.
We're live. We're
We're
live.
straight
We're
up
coast to coast here, man.
We only do live.
We're coast to coast, Small P. How you
we,
been?
we only do live because
How you
second
doing,
takes
guys?
wouldn't be any better.
We're very well. Tam, let's talk about co-ed. You've been a part of co-ed for a long time. How much improved is this competition in co-ed now than before?
A lot better. Really, a lot better. There's a lot more athletes. All the young guys, all the girls too. They impress me a lot. Yeah. So it's really good.
Tam, when you're playing in the co-ed division as you have for years past, how have you seen it develop from its humble beginnings to now?
At first, there was not a lot of competition for sure. I don't know how to say it, but before there's less team, less girls was able to prove that they can play. But today, from every team, the girls can ball for sure.
Tam, when you look at your Power Rangers team, what is the strength of your Power Rangers squad in co-ed 1?
The difference is not about my guys, it's all about the girls. If they show up to play, then the game's going to be easy for us. But yeah, it's all around about the girls.
So I've long said to Tam that for a co-ed team to be truly successful, they can have as much top-end talent, top-end FPF talent as they want, but unless they get valuable contributions from the female players, I believe they can't truly succeed. Do you believe that's a true statement, and why, if so?
Yeah, it is, because it's most of the team playing only with 2 girls, but my offense is most of the time at 3 girls, 3 guys, 3 girls. So it's half the offense. If one half doesn't succeed, how can I progress in the tournament, a score or something? Because you take away the guys, and if my girl's not playing well, then I'm screwed.
Which female on your team is the most important player on this roster?
All of them. They have,
I need
different
one,
roles.
Tam. I need one.
This is sports radio time. You got to pick
I
a
need
side.
one.
It depends on the game, bro. I don't know, but for real.
Okay, so how is the different ways that you use them, and in what game circumstance would one be better versus another?
Depends on the matchup. Whoever in terms of Malou, Constance, or Jasmine, or Geneviève, depends on everything. Most of the guys trying to cheat on the guys, so it gives me a lot of open windows. So in every game, it's different.
Tam, I have a general question for you. So in, I'll call it traditional FPF, your defense is you're playing man or zone or some type of form. How is that different in co-ed when you look at the matchup? So do you necessarily want, let's say, a woman on your team matched up against a man in a one-on-one, or are you trying to align people together? So how do you usually game plan for situations?
Depend of the teams, but most of the teams I've played yet, they're not using much of the girls. So with that, I can cheat a bit on the guys with the girl, like double teaming with one guy and one girl on one guy on the other team. So far, that's how we've been doing it, and so far so good for us.
Tam, besides your team, who is the best team in co-ed 1 besides your team?
I never see party mix yet, but from what I've seen from the stats and everything, they look pretty good. I know François likes to distribute the ball and use everybody's in offense. I really like that. But they're down to 2. I really like them a lot. Sarah is a good quarterback with Mauricio on the team and everything. But yeah.
So you're afraid of François Delorier?
Yeah, François has so far he's first seed right now, and but I didn't see him play yet, so I don't know much about it. I think they're a good team.
Are you more scared to see François Delorier on the field or in the backseat of your car as you approach there in the middle of the night?
What do you mean?
Well, like, what's scarier, him on the field or him hiding in the backseat of your car?
François is a cool guy, man. I love playing against him and with him. Really appreciate it a lot, and he got experience and everything, and that's why their team are good.
So now if you see him in the backseat of your car, he's probably just there for hugs because he's a good guy.
He's a hugging type of guy.
He looks like a good hugger.
Yeah.
Tam, just as a general question here. So this week you guys played Speed Academy and you won, but then you lost. So what happened exactly? Like, did you just not add numbers properly, or did someone show up that wasn't supposed to be there, or what exactly happened?
That's one on me because I was missing a couple of players, and that day I was playing 3 games, and I didn't want to go rush. So I'll be tired on my last game, and I thought without Serge, I'll be good with Max Patterson and Jean-François Marquis. So I never look up at the cap. That's what happened.
Do you think that for co-ed in general, I guess, should the caps be where they are today? Should it be higher? Should it be lower? Do you think it would help the competitive level if we were to try and make it more restrictive?
No, I think it's fine like that. It's just a big mistake on my part because I was playing back-to-back and I didn't have time to look, and yeah. But I think it's good. So far, it's good. Yeah, but it's just like for us, because we're in the leagues like for so long, so our caps are higher, and it's just difficult to make a team. So I have to find like other guys with the lower caps, which I don't have much around I was my friend playing it. They all high high caps.
You gotta scout Div 6, bro.
Huh?
You gotta go scout Div 6, bro.
Yeah, I know, but I don't have time to scout.
Yeah, I know.
I got a life except for football.
Well, reach out to our Division 6 writer, Ignacio, and I'm sure he'll be able to point you in the direction of a few talented gentlemen.
All right.
Tam, thank you so much for coming on with us.
All right, all good, guys.
Always look forward to seeing you
Talk to you soon, man.
One of the very loyal people at FPF, Tam Vilaydeth.
All right, thanks.
Good night, Tam.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
All right.
Bye, Small P.
So, Eagle, we've posted a poll.
We have.
I like that you voted in the poll.
Is it pull up yet or no?
Who's winning what's winning the poll so far?
Let me look at it right now.
So- Eagle?
What do you think is winning?
I have no idea. I wish there was a way I can check. Instead of having a way to check, I just I asked my producer.
Where is the poll, man? I don't see it anywhere.
It's
He
there.
posted it.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
So what is the poll? Who's winning?
White Chocolate Chunk is currently winning 4-2.
I make it.
And no one's
five-
Thank
voted
you,
yes.
Emmanuel Brûlé and Alexis Dubois, for thinking I'm semi-sweet, but you are wrong.
It's now 5-2, actually.
No.
Should I share this or
Because
no?
you just voted for it?
Yeah. Should I share this or no?
No.
You should share it.
How
yeah.
about you go to the next division?
We'll do that in 2 seconds. We have time. We have like another half
In
an
the
hour.
worst-
I was gonna say. So I got a text from Nimrod asking to confirm what time he was gonna be on the show, and I told him I was too talented to make my own appointments, so he had to go through you and Simon.
And I did.
And I told him though, like, it's no joke. Like, Eagle has literally reminded me of important things in my life. You know, like my wife's birthday, to buy a gift for my wife's birthday, what day my wedding was.
I have to remind you to renew your license and pay your registration.
Yup,
Because there's been
because
a few times you have not.
The
That's
amount
been
of
fun.
times my car has been on a flatbed because I didn't listen to Eagle and pay my stuff on time is not
Oh,
reasonable.
what's the odds of you being caught so many times with?
Oh, I'm the worst. Well, there's scanners everywhere now. Every cop car has scanners. It's like it's almost impossible not to get caught for not paying your license and
Yeah,
registration.
that's crazy.
I'm the worst at it. Just take it out of my account. Don't give me the decision. Just take it out of my account. Stop. Sorry, I digress.
Imagine, Peeze, you're a big Uber guy. Imagine you were an Uber driver.
There's a reason I'm a big Uber guy. It's because the app is easier for me to run. I pay for my ride and that's it. Instead of having to pay for all the things that come with.
Imagine
car
you were an
ownership.
Uber driver and you get your car impounded because you didn't pay your license.
Yeah, it would happen.
You
It
get
would
like a
100%
1 star.
happen.
You get like a 1 star on that one. Okay, 5A, 5B. The weeks that was for both these games that caught your attention, Peeze. The one game that caught my attention was the tie game between Tough Lungs and Les Voyous, 32-32. As we'll pop that game up onto the scoreboard in mere seconds. This was a game that was a little clunky at times. I just thought that Lerner and Omal became too dependent on Justin Lerner and for Marc-Andre Alexandre in terms of the offensive play calls and decision making for them. But this was a game that I thought had some moments of excitement, but reality was there wasn't really a team that really pulled away or defined themselves as being the better one on this battle between these two teams on Sunday night.
Yeah. What's interesting is I like that both these teams have a ton of talent. Les Voyous are a monstrously talented team who win a lot of games just based on their talent. But we saw here they didn't have a plan for how to manage Justin Lerner. And Olivier Deleuze, by the way, is the most underused player on this roster because the guy is just an athletic freak. But he caught a touchdown in this game as well. But Justin Lerner just torched Les Voyous. At some point, when you're allowing that many touchdowns to the same guy, you need to do something else.
Well, you know, it was near identical in terms of total yards. Plays were favoring Tough Lungs. They ran about 8 more plays. Pass yards were almost identical, 194 to 193. Average plays per touchdown, 7 for Tough Lungs, 6 for Voyou. So this was close enough. I think what it came down to was extra point attempts. Look, Voyou went 0 for 5 from the 1 point situation, whereas Tough Lungs 2 for 5. And that was a difference in why.
And they were 1 for 0 at the 2-point attempts.
Yeah, which I have no idea why it's like that, but it is what it is. Games that caught your attention.
Stats are hard.
You got to be better at attempting 2-point conversions, clearly. I have 2 upsets. Choose heads or tails.
Tails.
All right, Clinkers beat Air Force 37-12. That one surprised me. Marc-Andre Desaulniers, 6 drives, 6 touchdowns. Landing from wherever he was on vacation. I'm sure he told me. I'm not a very good listener, and unless Eagle reminds me, I will not have the information. But yeah, Simon Blais had a tough time against this defense, which is talented. But the thing that surprised me more than that was just like that defense, for as talented as they are on Air Force One, not being able to give Marc-Andre Desaulniers anything to think about whatsoever. He basically ran his offense and did anything he wanted. Tony Curry having a huge game, 7 catches and scoring 2 touchdowns.
I saw a bit of this game. This was nowhere near close.
But so, like, can you explain to me what it was that Air Force One couldn't adjust to from the Clinkers offense? What?
Tony Corey.
Yeah, but what specifically?
Snapping. Snaps coming in so quick that once Marc-Andre got the ball, it was out of his hands within like a second and a half. Like we always applaud Marc-Andre Desaulniers for his mental makeup of remembering plays and formations and stuff. It's like he just knew. He just put it, and it was bam, caught, up the field they went. Like
so if you're a defense and the ball was going in and out of a quarterback's hand within like a second and a half, the moment you see a guy break, you just undercut every single ball. You just say, go ahead and beat me deep. I'm gambling on every play, and until you adjust, we're going to try and shoot every single ball.
That is the way to get Marc-Andre, because he has a slow release, and because he's, again, very decisive decision maker, which is great. It's the first thing you want as a quarterback.
That's also what you want.
But
right?
as a DB, exactly. If you have the athletes, unless he's willing to make you pay and run double moves and go over the top, you need to do that. And it's surprising to me Air Force One didn't. The other surprise was Tutson Parley's taking a loss to Whack Attack. Tutson Parley's have been very good this season. Anthony Lazara learning from Tacos, his brother Dan Lazara, becoming a very good quarterback in his own right. The result here surprised me immensely.
In what sense? Because
Tutson Parley's, I played them week 1, and I was impressed. First of all, they have some bigger guys who are more athletic than you would automatically give them credit for. But then on top of that, Anthony Lazara's ability to throw on the run, defensively, how well they adapt to what you're trying to do on offense. And it seems as though they figured out what they got to do is get the ball in the hands of guys who played for Jägerbaum, because Maxim Marzan and Martin Jelena having 2 big games. Martin Jelena is a guy we haven't seen play in FPF in a little while, was a prominent member of the early Jägerbaum teams.
Now, hold on. Was this game in Laval on Wednesday night?
There's no way I can know that.
Eagle?
We can find out.
If you don't mind, please.
Marc-Andre Desaulniers was in Cuba, by the way.
Thanks. I knew it. I knew it was Cuba. I said that. Come on, pay attention.
It's funny
bro.
because Ignacio first said it, and then Marc-Andre confirmed it.
Okay, verify.
So everyone was paying attention except me.
Yes.
All right. Was this game Wednesday in Laval? I just want to double check that because there's a story to this game that I'd like to bring
There's
up.
a story to this game?
Yeah. If this game was the one I believe it is in Laval last night, Wednesday, that is.
Games are not a matter of belief, Mo.
It was in Laval. Yeah, exactly.
Wednesday
at 9
night.
o'clock.
So, in fact, they were missing a guy.
Oh, so there were 5?
I believe so. The guy they were missing was a man we know very well who has excelled at the higher division level, Dan Lazara.
Okay. But Dan's not on the
Dan
team.
plays?
He was subbing in. And he thought the game was in St. Leonard, so he came to St. Leo.
Me.
Yeah, me, bro. You serious? Laval. I could have done 2-for-1. I had a basketball game at 10 o'clock. Could have been in Laval. I go, unfortunately, it's in Laval, not St. Leo. So they missed Lazara. So Dan Lazara was not in the game, and maybe that would have been a difference, perhaps.
One Lazara short of a victory. But, Eagle, can you confirm that they were 5? Because my tab's not opening. I'd love to do it myself, but internet's... No, they were not 5.
No, but they're missing Lazara, though.
I know, but still, they said they had Joe Morghese, they had Jono Mandrakia, they had Angelo Donofrio. Okay, I thought it was Angelo Garofalo. I'm like, how does all this team fit?
How's Angelo Garfield on this team?
And of course, quarterback Anthony Lazaro.
So who sits on the bench for Lazara to play?
And Joe Marguez, no.
Well, I guess, I mean, it's probably rotation, right?
That wasn't the question.
I don't know.
I don't know who. No, I wouldn't. A little bit baffling, but he came to Terry Tam and I said, "Hey, where's my game? It's not here, bro." Laval. So he was not happy about that. I saw Arush against K Squad, 24-18 win for Arush over K Squad. Eric Lalonde, 160 passing, 4 TDs, 1 INT. Emile Plant, not a great game. 124 yards, 108 yards passing, 3 touchdown passes in total. But this was a game that was a defensive slugfest. Arush really came out big, made a lot of stops. No big plays given up by Arush's defense. So everything was underneath them, and they really controlled the ball tempo and didn't really give up at all in terms of their defensive alignment. And they played really well in the second half and made it difficult for.
Emile Plant's the guy I thought was going to improve more than he has by this point in his FPF career. So, I mean, he did okay in this game, but 3 touchdowns is not going to cut it. But it's a good team. Like Victor Nolin, Julien Proulx, like JF Dalloz, like there were playmakers on this team. Just to your point, Mo, Arush wasn't going to allow anything over the top in this one.
No. 5B, what games caught your attention? That piece?
Oh, I went 5B to start.
Okay. Yeah, but you want to go back to 5A or 5B?
I'll do 5A in that case because I give you all my 5B games.
I was gonna say, and I'm like, all right, I guess we're switching games, and then we're going backwards.
Nope, I didn't realize that. I caught unknown talent against Bruins. You're right about Raheem Charles. I wrote about him in my article. For those of you who haven't checked it out yet, it's at flagplusfootball.com.
Great segue. Rafa Morelli says Raheem is the truth.
Yep. That's literally that is the headline I had in my article. Raheem Charles is the truth because there was 3 things I noticed, and I talked about in the article. So for those who've read it, it's repetitive. For those who haven't, here's the information. I noticed 3 things, Mo. He threw an interception early. It was unfazed. Next play mentality. Love that. Love seeing that from a guy who hasn't faced a lot of adversity at the quarterback position. Love that absolutely. I saw him make a play where he's moving to his right, stop, pivot, throw over defender into the hands of Sebastian Gomez for a touchdown. Now I don't know if it's Gomez or Gomez. Please, someone from that family, correct us.
I don't think they even know.
And then
don't know.
I'm pretty sure they know their own name, Moe Khan. The third thing I noted was he made a throw over the middle. It wasn't complete. And he noticed late in his progression, after the ball left his hand, he noticed he had a receiver wide open in the end zone. He sprinted to the end zone, and I was close enough because I was warming up for my game by the end zone. I heard him say, "Bro, I'm sorry. You were wide open. Didn't get there. Didn't have time to get there in my progression. I'll come back to you. Like, really putting the accountability on himself. I liked what I saw from a physical standpoint, from a play calling standpoint, and mostly from a leadership standpoint. Really, really, really impressed with Raheem Charles. Best to me. I don't even know if he's the best quarterback in the division, but he's the guy I'm cheering for. He is appointment. If games were televised, he's appointment television.
Yeah, he's like Pat Mahomes out there. Do you think he knows all of his teammates?
I would imagine. I don't know.
You think he knows Ralph Morelli?
I guess they play together.
Hey, man.
I've never not known my teammates, so I don't know.
Hey, man. How you been? No, he's awesome. He's fun to watch. He's like a Pat Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Aaron Rodgers type of quarterback.
Oh, I see what you did. You put in the one white guy, so you weren't doing the thing.
The one white guy, of course.
You weren't doing the thing that every sports guy does, where they just group guys by color.
Of course not.
And hope people don't notice.
Yeah, of course not. No, he has a blend of all 3 of those guys.
I was thinking, more of a Steve Young, Mark Brunell.
Nice lefties, even though he's a righty.
Yeah. Mike Vick.
Yeah,
he's a right-handed Steve Young, Mark Brunell, and Mike Vick. I like that you noticed what I was doing.
Yeah, of course. Left-handed white throwers. Yeah.
I know. I threw in Mike Vick, so it's not a racial thing.
But can we get the top 5 white quarterbacks in FPF who are left-handed throwers?
I don't even know them. Like, who would that be?
Mike
No,
Mandel.
they're not top 5.
Mike Mandel.
Depends if there's 5.
Is there 5 left-handed quarterbacks who are white in this league? Scott Maranovich is one.
Are you left-handed or right-handed?
I can throw both.
You can't throw
But you don't
one.
get on the list, though.
So Scott Maranovich is on this list. Peeze, Mike Mandel.
Just saying, might be top 5. Might be top 5.
That would be unfortunate.
There's not that many lefties.
So Scott Maranovich, the top white quarterback, left-handed thrower. Okay, cool. All right, perfect.
I once threw a ball to John Laristis, like in a warm-up, like in our first game together, and he came and he's like, "Oh, lefty, the worst."
Because it comes out differently, right?
It does come out differently.
It's a little bit different. Okay, Div 5, MTL Loud or the U? Who do you got?
I like MTL Loud a lot. I really like what I've seen so far.
Versus the U? They played week 1.
I know.
He's saying
but in terms now,
season
because
long.
Both these teams are the best of their division right now.
I'm going to just do it. I'm going to go MTL Loud and say, whatever the U, blah, 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 blah.
Even though the U won week 1.
Yeah. Well, but it's week 1. I don't put a lot of stock in week 1 wins and losses because like we don't legitimately know how good teams are. It was also a 27-25 game. So, I mean, that's a game where if these two teams, if they meet the playoffs, and I hope they do, it'll be a very good game. I'm a big fan of MTL out. Xavier Tremblay, by the way, still to throw an interception. Come on, join the party, man. I promise you, throwing interceptions is fun. 20 touchdowns, no interceptions is a great start to the season. By the way, hashtag analysis right there. 20 touchdowns, no interceptions, great start to the season. I don't know if you knew that, Mo.
Captain Obvious right there.
Yeah.
More confidence at 2-1-1, Voodoo or Tip Top Shape. They're both nestled at the 5 and 6 spots of Conference A.
Can we say that while the teams have the same record, Voodoo look like a better 2-1-1 than Tip Top Shape? Like, does that make any sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. That makes sense.
Voodoo to me looks the part. I love the offense. Frank K is an intelligent thrower, and he seems to be in a right division with the right roster where they can do something. Tip Top Shape feels lucky to be 2-1-1. They've allowed 98 points and have a point differential of minus 23 at this point. I wouldn't be surprised to see them have a losing record at this point, given that. And they face some tough offenses heading up. Like
I'm sorry,
Spartans.
Peeze. If you look at Eagle, he's like a sad puppy dog right now.
Well, Eagle, where are we in the poll?
I'm still a white chocolate chunk.
But where are the votes?
We're like 7-2 or something.
I don't know.
That's amazing.
How would I know that?
Just check it.
There's no way I can do that.
I'll check that right now. Carry on, Peasy. Sorry.
Some of us are working, Eagle.
Yeah, sorry about that, Peasy. Carry on.
Jesus. Yeah, they have some tough offenses ahead. They face Spartans. They face Ice Up.
7-2.
Someone
voted yes.
I'm curious. Someone voted yes. Who voted yes? Who's the genius?
JC Bennett.
He is a genius. So they're going to be tested down the line. I think Tip Top Shape are not going to have the kind of season they expected heading into the season.
Fair enough. Then when we look now at the next question here, Balls Deep, do they have a major influence on the playoff standings in the second half of the year? Balls Deep, who are 2-2 in the 9th hole right now, can they really get back into the playoff positioning?
Well, they face Tip Top Shape this week.
Yes.
Or in their next game, rather. I don't believe it's actually this week.
It is actually.
February 10th.
The week after.
Yeah.
So there's a long layoff from here until the 10th. Wow, that's a long layoff.
They also have MT Loud on their schedule. They have the U on their schedule. So depending on how those games go, that can actually affect the top seed.
I believe
That's
they're going
pretty
to be
brutal,
out for 2.5 weeks, 16 days.
Yeah.
That's tough.
A lot of teams are. I'm experiencing that with 5B. But Justin Weir, he's been good, but I kind of expect a little more. It might 15 touchdowns, 1 interception is great, right? But it just seems like I expected them to be a little bit more explosive, and they're not quite there. Am I alone in that feeling?
No, I think Weir is a good quarterback. It's that it's time for him to take the next step. I believe. I think he's showing signs flashes of brilliance of being a really good quarterback, but I want him to be more consistent with his offense because I think he allows the trash talking to get into his head at times from opposing defenses, and that gets him off his game. And that's where I think he needs to mature a little bit more.
Especially as a quarterback. Like, that's the time for you to step back and talk less trash because you have so many things to focus on and a short play clock to do it in.
Yeah, I just think that if he can not zip it up, but if he can just keep himself locked in on what he has to do, I think he can be a dynamic player in this
But if you're the opposing teams, trash talk him because, as Moe Khan's saying, it works.
It does work. Honey Martin, do they have the most dynamic offense in
Honey
5B,
Martin,
in 5B?
Honey Martin, I'm going to say it, False Kings.
Really?
False Kings. I'm gonna name the teams they played against, and Eagle, you're gonna give me the record. Okay.
Okay. Let me get this right.
Honey Martin are 4-0.
Okay.
Let's look at their crown, shall we?
I
Gryphons.
gotta get my file processed for this, so it'd be good.
Well, let's put the standings up, and I'll do the numbers in my head. Go.
Gryphons.
Hold on. Jeez.
I'm not holding
gonna-
on.
he's
Do
gonna
your
be
job,
alive.
Gryphons.
Okay, Gryphons are currently 1-3.
1-3. Okay, go.
Honey Martin then faced Clinkers.
Clinkers are currently. What the hell are you guys? Clinkers are 2-2.
2-2.
So 3 and 5.
Honey Martin faced Team YS.
Team YS is 0-4.
So 3 and 9.
Honey Martin faced Lum de l'Ouest.
Leland de l'Ouest are 0-4.
So 3 and 13.
Yeah.
So now
that's what they faced.
subtract 4 losses from that just to get an actual understanding, because you shouldn't count the actual matchups,
Sure.
right?
So 3-13, so -4, so 3-9.
3-9.
That's not better.
They're 25%.
Slightly
Yeah,
better.
250 as opposed to like 150 or whatever.
So they're frauds. Is that what you're saying?
Next week they play Blackouts. Blackouts record is.
Blackouts are 3-1.
And Green Monster 2.0.
Green Monster are 3-1.
What are those games? by the
Chocolate
way?
Barracudas.
Chocolate Barracudas are 2-2.
Can you just
So,
put the schedule up on the
I
screen there,
think-
Peeze or Eagle?
I think this is where we're gonna learn a lot about Honey Martin. This is where we see if they're for real or not. Because right now, your crown is about as worthless as the Burger King. And you know what? I had that crown as a child. You have a child's crown. Grow up. Be men.
We have Ignacio Valdez Manzanato saying, "Lol, here we go again."
False
Hashtag
King.
False King.
False Kings.
False Kings have been.
They were the original False Kings, by the way. So
And I was right.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
are we buying the Holy Trollers as being a legitimate contender now in 5e?
Well, I mentioned Holy Trollers because I'm a bit more familiar with some of the roster, because I know a lot of the team plays in the what's it called? What's Louis Cyr League called now?
Yes.
MTL Flag or
Yeah, whatever it's called.
I apologize. I respect the league a lot. I'm not throwing shade. I'm getting
I am.
older and no longer
Who
remember
the
the
bleep is
things.
this Louis Cyr guy?
I'm not cross promoting a league.
No,
I don't mind. They're not a threat to us. But I like them a lot. They're very talented. You recognize some of the names as well, Mo.
It's MFFL, by the way, Montreal Flag Football League.
Oh yeah, those guys.
MFL.
Yeah.
You recognize Jordan Chin.
Yeah.
We recognize, of course, Josh Levine and Kevin Kusai. Max Rosenfeld is a talented quarterback. I think especially for this division, this is where they'll fit in. Outsiders are the best success story from MFL.
Yeah.
And Holy Trollers are one of the top teams in MFL as well. So I'm excited to see them playing more. It doesn't. You know what? Eagle made a joke saying he didn't want to cross promote any other leagues, but anytime flag football is being played in this city, it of course helps us at FPF. It's a sport we believe in, so it's cool to see them make the jump into FPF and compete against a larger pool of teams.
Breaking news.
Dun dun dun. dun.
Marc-André Deslognier says no. Honey Martin are for real.
False Kings.
Morality is the best quarterback by far.
Oh, look at that! Funny words from Marc Andre.
So Marc Andre's not the best quarterback.
No.
Just saying, believe in yourself.
No.
Believe in yourself.
So hold on. Ask Marc Andre. Would he take?
You ask him. Look in the camera and ask him.
Well, I'm asking you to ask him. Would he?
But he-
So
I'm not gonna ask
is
him.
he? Is he
Send a text
implying?
on the side.
Yeah. So is he implying that Honey Martin will beat his team in the playoffs if they were? Thank you. Last question. Does Chris Williams hate Moe Khan?
Sorry?
Chris Williams, does he hate Moe Khan? Chris Williams from the Chocolate Barracudas.
Everyone. Well, first of all, you're a scorekeeper, so nobody likes scorekeepers. Secondly, do you consider yourself to be likable?
No, but
There we go.
But no, but I don't know what I did to the guy. I don't know what.
What happened though? Give us the story. Like
Did you
full
miss some
disclosure.
stats?
I
No,
saw
not
this.
at all.
I saw this in the script, and I was thinking to myself, I don't know what this reference is.
I know it's weird because Fall Cup they were doing the games in Papineau and Barracudas were in the final.
When they tried to hide that Chris Williams was on the roster.
No, they weren't. What happened was the referee said, "Listen, we just want players only on the sidelines. Right? We don't want fans on the sidelines because this team has been notorious for having fans come onto the football field, and leaders really did not like it. So I said, listen, guys, you got to put your fans up in the stands. We just want to avoid having that." And he was annoyed by it. I go, dude, it's just the referee's decision. I'm just here to let you know. He wasn't happy about that. And you can see, like, it bugged him. It really bugged him. I was like, okay, whatever, man. So last Sunday, I'm in Lachine, 6 to midnight, and I'm on field 3. He's playing on field 2. I'm on halftime, talking to Tom Cesare about something. And the thing was, you know how it is sometimes when you're playing on one field, the other game might come onto your field, guy catching the football, whatever it was. So Chris Williams catches the football. So my eyes locked with him as Tom and I are talking. I said, yeah, to Tom. He thought I was talking to him. He said, what are you talking about, man? What are you looking at? I'm like, what? I'm like, yo, dude, does this guy hate me or what?
So I've learned that working for FPF,
Dude.
you accumulate weird enemies. Like there are people who legitimately thought I hated them, or legitimately thought like they had like rivalries with me. I'm like, guy, it's a show.
Oh, dude, I can give you my top 5 right now. Chris Williams is number 5.
Okay.
Sean Collins is up there, 100%. Gino DeFazio up there. That's number 3.
Gino DeFazio, I feel, is not a
He's only
fan of
number
Calling the
3?
Audible.
Well, we kind of gotten better because of the kids league. You know, I did a couple games. Hey man, how you been? Hey, hi, nice to see you again, pal. This Gino DeFazio is number 3. Number 2. This is a tough one for me. Number 2. There's a team that you played, Eagle. The team that you played in Broster that got you kicked out for 5 plays.
Yeah. They're brand new.
What's their name?
Goats.
Yeah, they didn't like me. Same thing, because the sideline, the players on the sidelines, the guys, you got to go in the end zone. They were upset.
And the number one person.
guy, Mike Asari, a.k.a. Prince Copperfield, a.k.a. Mike Zimmy, hates me.
I've heard from Marc-André. He goes, "Oh, I love the guys on Honey Martin so much, and I respect them a lot. It will take a perfect game to beat them." So basically, he's saying he's
being
gonna
arrogant.
It
lose.
won't be. It just Clinkers 8-0, and so that's why they're just part of the false resume of the false kings. Honey Martin, real bar. Go there for Ignacio's open mic.
He does open mic?
Well, not open mic. Sorry, trivia night.
Honey Mart's on Sherbrooke Street.
Yeah, we should go. It'd be fun.
We should go as a team, right? The 3 of us.
Yeah,
I'm good at trivia.
What
You're
is
good at
trivia
sports
night?
trivia.
I'm good at
I'm
drinking. So
Hey, we all are. When is this trivia thing happening? What days?
it's Tuesday nights at Honey Martin. We're gonna check it out because they're a real bar, but they're false kings.
Can we go in the spring? I don't want to go now.
Yeah, I'm not going in winter. Relax.
No,
I'm not doing anything in winter.
No. And plus, with FPF, man, it's only off night, quote unquote.
False kings.
All right, hour number 2 in the books. We discovered my 5 enemies, who are the false kings. Hour number 3. We find out from Peeze what he thinks about Div 1, Div 2, and whether or not in those higher echelon divisions, if he has more confidence in Flagmore Sack or the finest, and can Underachievers 2.0 be a top tier team? And also, Will Power will be on with us. We'll ask him,
Power hour.
is the hand of God with him as he plays football in the stream? Stay tuned here. Hour 3 coming up.
Put the place up. Put the place up. Yeah, we know what we made of. Can't get enough of you, boo. I'm a chaser. Face up. Now I feel a little major. Blink of an eye. Ego, I'm a taker. Shaker. Yeah, she was a born shaker. She shake me out that door to no place. Damn, why you doing all that? Thought you was my wife, but you stabbed me in the back. Sounded like a rose when we came out there. We settled facts like Da Vinci. I'm breaking codes, I'm breaking backs. Come on, get your ass up if you're slipping. With another smile like it was the last Christmas. Hey.
No, this is
Sorry,
when you're
guys.
supposed to talk.
I'm just tagging guys right now in this poll question. we have
Well,
here.
what was the dumbest, not dumbest, the worst class you've ever taken?
Oh, I think a few, man.
The worst class I ever took was critical thinking. I figured it would be an easy A because I think all the time, often critically. Turns out I was very wrong. I had to read a whole bunch of books I didn't care about. I had to, I remember and I was my own worst enemy because I would look at a question and be like, they'd say, which of these would represent critical thinking? And I look at them like, that's pretty critical. That's pretty critical. All of them? Turns out it wasn't all of them.
That's some bad classes, man. Humanities was always a boring class. Man, was it boring.
Maybe you chose the wrong one. I remember choosing a time travel humanities class. It was awesome. Yeah, CJEP is bullshit.
I did epistemology in university as an elective.
Which one?
Epistemology.
Epistemology?
How was that?
It's the philosophy of knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
I did a
whole,
rock.
like,
I did a rock
Geology.
geology. Yeah, that was terrible.
Yeah, my dad told me to take it because it was an easy A.
It was not.
Yeah, my dad's just good at rocks, I guess.
I
Real
actually,
rock star.
I appealed my grade because the prof was terrible, and they
Yeah,
gave me-
it's the prof's fault.
yeah. I gave them valid reasons, and they boosted up to a B.
I actually had a class where the teacher's fourth language was English. It's fine. It's like we during the class like it wasn't a problem until we got to the exam, and I looked over at this girl sitting next to me, and she's weeping, and I'm like, okay, and I start flipping through the exam, and most of the questions were incomprehensible,
Oh boy.
and it's cool that it's not your first language, and it's impressive that. Like, you must be really good in your field to be able to get that job.
Have your TA like review it or
But
something.
that's what I'm saying. Like come on. Like, you're paying TAs shit all. Make them do something, Like, or maybe the TA just said they proofread it and didn't.
Didn't care.
Also possible. Anyway, the whole class appealed their grades, and our grades were raised as well. Also.
I had a really cool prof. I know we're going off course here, but I had a really cool prof.
Which course?
This guy, Professor Suquan Chan. Awesome prof. So
Wicked name, too.
Yeah, he's a really cool guy. And so anyway, long story short, it was about a class of 50. And I think 10 of us or 12 of us passed like the exam he gave. It was out of 40, so whatever it was, right? So he's like, you know what, guys? What's the reason why you guys didn't do well for those who didn't pass? He goes, oh, this, and this. All right, we're going to reduce it down to 30. So instead of being whatever it was out of 40, it's out of 30 now. And he goes, you know what, guys? It's out of 25. Fuck the system. So I got myself what should have been a B became an A minus because you reduced the total points from 40 to 25.
Yeah.
So we have a 4A minus division instead of 4B?
Yeah, we could.
That's where I should throw.
So we got 4A and 4B. The week that was, what caught your attention, Peeze, from the week that was? There's some games that I did. So shall I start off first or no?
Yeah, go. Give me.
Okay, let's go to Chalk Thunder and Outlaws. High scoring affair, 46-39 as Peeze or Eagle will get the game up and running on the screen. Both quarterbacks were really good. I just thought Joe Cano was a lot more dynamic. A lot more deep balls, but Stephen Harper isn't a deep ball thrower. He's a short dink and dunk player. And I think that hurt him in this game. I think that did not help him in this game, and it showed when they were down and they tried to make a comeback, which they did, but it wasn't enough racetrack for them. And look, quite frankly, I thought Joe had a really good game plan, spreading the football out.
Well, two things. One is it's often assumed that Joe Cano is short for Joe Cannoli. Eagle, next week. Joe Cannolis. You're late. You're late on your payment. The way, this is going to sound cliche, but it's a bit more in depth than that. The way to beat Stephen Harpersod is by scoring a ton of points. He's not a guy who works well coming from behind. And like he played pretty much a perfect game. So like he scored 6 touchdowns. You can't necessarily pin it on him. It's not the kind of game he will excel at more often than not. Neither team punted the ball. Neither team turned the ball over. It's really just Joe Cano was unstoppable and got the extra possession. But yeah, I think if you're gonna beat Outlaws, it's gonna be this kind of game. It's gonna be you just need to score constantly and put Harpersod on the ropes.
Who's more irked, Tim Horner to not get 100 yards receiving, or Stephen Harpersod who had 199 could have 200 yards? Like who's more irked? They see the stat like, oh man, I was a yard off from being 100, 200 yards.
Knowing Steve, he's just annoyed by the loss more than anything else. Tim Horner not getting 100 absolutely bothers him. He couldn't sleep. He called Joe Cano weeping. He said it was almost the end of their friendship basically. And luckily, hopefully the guys were able to calm him down because Horner's a great player. Just one short of 100.
All right, what can caught your attention, Peeze?
Well, by just going on and on, I was unable to bring up the next game, but I will say Super Saiyans getting back on track, beating Le Centaur is a great sign. Happy to see that because they got off to a weird start. Jordan Allard avoiding the mistakes, Jordan Rossi throwing 2 interceptions instead. And Le Centaur actually had like a great second half to try and make up for it, but it was too little too late. They legit just ran out of time in this one. And
well, I think Saints are now hopefully finding their groove, right? I mean, they kind of stumbled out and they just didn't have a confident start to the year, and now this is a big win for them. This could probably parlay for them to get themselves back into the picture race and be in the thick of the race of being a better seed than what they could be right now.
Yeah. I saw Band Brothers Sphinx. Again, I wrote about that in my article on flagplusfootball.com. For those who haven't read it, Corey Woloski and Etienne Cloutier put on a show. We talked about earlier in one of the previous hours how I'm impressed with how well Corey Woloski has played and how much he's improved. But Etienne Cloutier is a guy, you and I know him, Mo, because we've been around FPF for a while. One of the first Division 5 dynasties was Sphinx back in the day. They then took some time off and have come back and haven't had the same kind of success. But Etienne Cloutier showed he's every bit of the passer he's been. Some deep shots, and then at times just being able to move the ball methodically and manage the game well. Just Corey Woloski was simply on fire. The game ended. It was 40-38 for Bandit Brothers. The ball's thrown by Cloutier to the back of the end zone. He didn't really have anyone open, just tried to put it up to a spot where his receiver can get there. Instead, Jalen Greaves went up, caught it with one hand, and returned it for 2 points for Bandit Brothers. And that's how the game ended.
Next one to end the game here. 4B, I did not see many games, if any games at all. Actually, I did not see any games at all in 4B, but looking at the scorelines that caught my attention, Finesser's big win over ZTs. I know the Mapanguaria, Alex Bacalani, I'm sure is watching this right now. 27-13 over them. Good win for Finessers. A good win because I thought ZTs is a team to watch out for. I think their lack of experience in FPF is
that's what's hurting them.
Hurting them right now.
That's the thing that's hurting them. They're going to be very good very quickly, but they're not there yet. Ryan Karoof has been playing well, and Alex Bacalani, the million-time receiver of the year, having that kind of performance once again. It's been a while because we've really seen the rise of Niro Suresh taking a bigger role with this team, but Alex Bacalani being the man in this one and just got fed. And his 4 touchdown performance is absolutely huge.
You're surprised by B-Ball is getting crushed 53. B-Ball is winning 53-31 over Mean Machine.
I am not. B-Ballers are great. B-Ballers are a cap-breaking team where the cap doesn't mean anything to them because they came in, they steamrolled Division 6D. They won the championship in Div 6 that season, right? After being promoted. Yeah. They were far too good for the competition. Vincent Beauregard's a monster. Johnny Casati is just, he's a purebred flag football player. This whole team is a flag football team. So they came into FPF. It's not like tackle guys learning the game. They play tackle, but they've also played flag. Daniel Goloff he did a lot of what he could. And we saw Benji Ziegler go nuts. But in the end, just the one interception cost them. But more than that, it was just a perfect game completely for B-Ballers, start to finish. And when you look at it, 3 play on average, they would run 3 plays to score a touchdown.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's absolutely insane.
17 passing tests. But for Mean Machine, this has been a fall from grace for them. I mean, they were a solid team, but now they're just
Mean Machine, don't forget they're moving up a division, right?
Yeah.
And I think we're starting to see where they are in terms of like the high end of their abilities. I think it's going to take some time for them to be successful in this division.
You got ZT's coming up next. Pivotal matchup for both teams here.
Yeah.
We have Willpower coming up in a few minutes here. Let's talk about some of the topics. Div 4A, who is the best quarterback between Infantry, Bandit Brothers, and LVF? All 3 are 1, 2, and 3 in their division right now.
Well, I like Corey Woloski a lot for things I detailed earlier, but because it was a previous hour, I'll just recap it really quick. Strong arm, great playbook, decisive decision maker, all the things you want in a successful quarterback. When you move over to the infantry, Sean Submergin, we know that he has the ability to play, to be able to run the ball, to be able to pass the ball. Very impressed with what he's done in a short period of time. Just his sheer athleticism, I think, is what gives him a bit of the edge there. Mo, who else did you mention?
Well, in 15 minutes.
Yeah, that's not the thing I'm talking about.
I know.
What was the third quarterback you mentioned?
Talking about LVF, Infantry, and then Band of Brothers.
Yeah, LVF, of course, Zachary Verger, a guy we know well on the show because of his wicked pictures. Although I'm more of a Zach Verger 1.0 than his 2.0 pick.
His dad's a big fan of you, by the way.
I'm glad.
Did I tell you the story with him and his dad?
Maybe. You know what? Maybe.
His dad thought it was I. He's like, yeah, you guys make fun of my son. I go, make fun of your son.
I've never made fun of him. Just it was a pretty wicked picture.
And then he's like, well, I love the podcast, but yeah, you guys make fun of my son. That's why I watch. I'm like, oh, man. I go, that's Peeze, not me.
Well, look, it got us a viewer, right? So my methods, my crazy
has
methods
been
work.
effective.
No, he's got a good team around him. They're 4-0. He sent me a message saying Band of Brothers haven't beat anybody. LVF have a better resume so far. They beat Half a Stars. They beat Touch by Angeletti, A Squad, Eskimo Brothers. Solid teams up and down to his defense, and they laid a whooping on Eskimo Brothers, outscoring them by 26 points.
So where would you put Mike Roy in C2E, like with the quarterback list that we have from Infantry, LVF, and Band of Brothers?
Mike Roy is not that far away from having thrown in Division 3, so it shouldn't be a shock that he's playing well in Division 4. I think he's in a division that's a touch low for him. And given the team is so well built. We know Sean Haney, of course. We know Marvin Steinberg, but getting Andrew Grant, an explosive player who's not even found his way on this offense yet.
And Vadim Cherniak.
Vadim Cherniak and Hensley Adams are guys who've contributed in small ways on previous teams, but they're guys who we know can have can play a big role. I liked C2E's roster, and I think Mike Roy is probably a touch too good to be throwing in this division.
Eagle, let's get the C2E schedule up there for us viewers to watch and see what they have lined up, because they are undefeated right now this season. And
well, they face Outlaws, which is
game.
a good match.
Yeah, tough game.
Good matchup. They're going to face Super Saiyans, which are going to pose some difficulty with them athletically. They just won't win matchups across the board. And Band of Brothers later on in the season. So they face some top end competition.
Don't discount Dream Breakers.
And Dream Breakers as well. I mean, I just didn't want to mention every single game, but yeah.
And Centaur as well. Let's talk
sure. And Le Centaur.
We are an inclusive group here when it comes to mentioning teams.
And Le Prince de Sud. See, so we mentioned all the teams.
Perfect. Half a Stars, they weird year, right? They lost to the two best teams and they took out the two worst teams. Where do they go from here? Are they going to be an up and down team, or are they going to be even keel team in terms of where they will not go high or low?
I think this is an adjustment season for Andrew Langbert. I think they're going to be a middle of the pack team. He's moving up a division. He's moving up two divisions, kind of, because he was in 5A before, and then we see Half a Stars now in 4A. He's got a good group around him. There are a lot of the guys that he got from the process. Max Brewer unfortunately suffered an injury his first game. He's going to be gone for the season.
Mentioned,
so that's going to be difficult. It's like she knows I'm in a show. Why would she call in the middle of my show? Anyway, it's all good. It happens every week.
Answer. No, go ahead. Answer. Come on. Answer.
No, it's okay.
Eagle. Sorry, Eagle. Peace. Answer. Don't be shy.
It's not to be shy.
Nah, he doesn't want to answer your
on
phone
the
call.
air.
Answer on speakerphone.
Come on. Oh, go for it. Come on. Do it. Shh. Here we go. We're live.
Hello?
Hi.
Hey, babe. You're on the show.
Oh,
How's it going?
so if anybody's taking the 449 to RDP, there's a carbon monoxide leak on the bus, so don't go.
Don't what?
Don't take the bus.
Don't take the bus. Good advice for anyone.
Okay.
All right. I'll see you when I get home. Bye.
Okay. So don't take the bus home.
Don't take the bus home. Don't take the bus home.
What's the reason?
Clearly, that information could not have been texted.
Yeah.
It had to be a call.
Yeah.
Especially since she knows I Uber home after the podcast.
What was
it's
the
all
reason
good.
why? Like, how come? Was something going on in the 440 something bus?
The 49 bus. There was an issue for some reason.
Okay. All right. So we could have been in South Beach. but
I
we're here.
once was on the 49 bus when I was younger, and a woman was on there, and she had a bunch of mice with her, which freaked me out. So I immediately got off the bus and waited for the next one.
Okay. Perfect.
East End troubles.
They could be pets or food for snakes.
Or food for humans. But don't eat bats. Apparently, that's one of the things they say may have caused the outbreak of the coronavirus. Is a soup that's become popular there, where they just bats in the soup. And bats tend to carry a lot of disease and so on.
Lovely.
Don't know if it's true, but it's something I read. If you read it, it must be true. Internet 2020.
Okay. All right. Dreambreakers, are they this year's Cinderella team? Because I didn't expect them to be 3-1 at this point.
I like Dream Breakers a lot, man. I played against them in fall. They were far too good for the team that we had put forward in the fall cup. I like them a lot. I didn't expect them to be 3-1. To your point, Moe, I didn't expect that to be an issue. I thought they'd struggle defensively, but Sebastien Della is an absolute stud. The guy's got a quick release. He's got a great arm. He's a great athlete. The team itself has great athletes all over the place. I've sang the praises of Pierre-Alexandre Taché forever, but Vincent Lagenier is a guy who's come along as well.
He's
I
played
feel
very
like
well.
I lose my voice every time I say the name Vincent Lagenier. He
Played
may
very
be
well.
cursing me. He may be a curse.
Good player, actually, both ways. I like him a lot.
Both of those two guys, absolute studs. Absolute studs.
I like Dreambreakers a lot. I think they have what it takes to win, like, and perhaps be a 6 or 7 win team. I think it's gonna be matchup dependent for them in the playoffs.
Yeah, it might be. It might be.
Because there's some teams they don't match up well with. 4B, Les Gros Coq are doing very well.
Yeah. Their Dom Lefort is annoying. He is so quick in the backfield. He makes all rushers look bad. Nobody has even gotten a hand on him, it seems. And they've shored up their defense quite a bit. They communicate well. They have a lot of speed. They have some size. They tend to use their size on defense instead of offense, which is a pretty smart move. They got a short rusher who bats down so many balls.
Yeah, Sheriff looked like they were this. Oh, they looked bad against them yesterday. Not good.
Was,
my-
was Louis Bégin there?
Yeah, he was.
Okay.
My question to you, though, is this. Backwood Boys take over a Mongoose. Who is the serious threat towards them right now?
Sorry, what were the three teams? My headset cut.
Takeover, Mongoose,
The first, I can miss the first one. I'm sorry.
Backwood
Boys, okay.
Backwood Boys.
So I faced Backwood Boys this past week.
I know.
Um,
We're going to get to you soon.
Not fun. That's a tremendously athletic team. Who are the other two Backwood Boys?
Takeover or Mongoose?
They play Backward Boys week 1. They play Takeover week 7. Mongoose is not on their schedule.
I like Takeover. I'm a big fan. I think this is the season for Ian Eber. This is his last chance with his roster before they all get pushed up, I believe, into a higher division. Backwood Boys' raw athleticism is impressive. Nicky Farinaccio is a monster, by the way. The guy is Div 1 talented. Absolutely.
Speaking of the
Got size, got speed, plays physical. He's all the things you want in higher divisions. The guy's a monster.
Could we get the Backwood Boys box score up there, Eagle, from their win?
He was the guy. I don't know if you remember the game of the week at one point when it was unknown talent, and he caught a touchdown and did a standing backflip.
Oh yeah.
That's the dude. That dude who did a standing backflip is also 6'4".
Okay, let's get to this game here. So,
I just looked at the stats for this game.
yeah.
It's-
No,
it's not good.
No,
It's
I
not
saw
good.
your boy Blay on Monday, and he's like, "Bro, we lost bad." I'm like, "How bad?" He goes, "We lost." Like he missed. He thought the score was 70-19.
Yeah, it was about
It was
that.
close.
Um,
What the hell, Peeze, man? You get how many picks? You think 4 pick sixes they had on you?
5.
So the game was over after 5 minutes or 6 minutes?
Well, we drove the field the first drive after a drop touchdown. I threw my first pick 6. And then I was trying to, like, at one point I didn't really care about the picks because it got so bad anyway. I was just trying to make things happen and put
It
scores
wasn't
on board.
happening. It was not happening.
Um,
Can we get the box score, please? The team stats.
On my end, I played horribly. I was unable to locate any balls.
199 pass yards is pretty good, though.
Well, we were moving the ball. It just the difficulty is we were missing 3 of our faster players. So whenever they were in man, there wasn't anything open often. If anything was open, it was Justin Blanchard, and anything else was not open. And then on top of that, when they were in zone, I couldn't locate my passes, and they were sailing. There were balls literally sailing over open receivers into the chest of a defender.
So I was gonna say,
Rough game.
If there's man coverage, there is a very small window potentially, even if the defender is good or whatever. Was that the case where you literally had no windows, or just that they were so tiny and
They
you
were
just-
so
your time-
tight. They were so tight that unless the ball was thrown perfectly, it was getting picked.
So that's not going to happen.
It was tough. The matchup that they decided to go with late in the game, Nicky Farinaccio manned up against Justin Blanchard. We were actually able to score twice given that matchup, but like it wasn't open often easily. You know what I mean? So kudos to them. They have a great team. We have a rivalry against each other. We're 2-1. Hopefully next time around we'll put up a better game. I played terribly. We didn't have the best version of our roster. Not much more to say than
You
that.
can only go up from here, Peeze.
Well, whatever. We can only go.
Up.
It can only go.
In 4B.
I promise you I can throw more pick sixes.
In Conference A 4B, the probability that all 8 teams will be 500 or better, Eagle, if you get the standings up, please.
Coming.
Willpower in 2 minutes. 4B, the probability of all 8 teams being 500 or better right now is what?
50%.
Hold on. Did I say Conference A, not Conference B?
Yeah.
52%.
Look, they're all 500 right now.
Yes.
So that means half the teams will be above 500.
Or
500.
half the teams will be below 500, or all the teams will be 500.
I can see 5 being above 500.
I think there's a 52% chance that all teams will be 500. Since we can't measure alternate realities, I stand by what I said.
Okay, fair enough. I see 5.
Because of the horse paradox.
Correct.
I see 5.
Did I use it right? Observational logic.
That's well done, Peeze. That's that's very well done then. Willpower will join us in a few moments from now. We'll talk to him about the season. Willpower, good hands.
Absolutely.
Big Dolphin fan.
Yeah. Talented writer, too. We hope to have him with the media team soon.
Hello?
Willpower, good evening. How you doing?
Hey.
Chris? All is well?
I'm good, thanks. How are you guys?
Very
Good,
well.
Will. How are you, bud?
I'm good, thanks. Thanks for having me on the show.
It's not really much of a show. It's just 3 guys just chit-chatting about nonsense, actually. Will, I know you're a big Miami Dolphin fan.
Yeah, of course.
Are you still wearing the Dolphin football gloves by chance during flag football?
No, I'm not, only because they lost a bit of grip, but if they were still like intact, I would. I could always represent my boys.
Okay, so this week I was watching ESPN, and so they had the scenario presented to saying that there's murmurs going on right now that Miami is willing to trade their 3 ones to move up to the first overall selection to get Joe Burrow. Would you be happy as a Dolphin fan if you got Joe Burrow for 3 ones?
That's a tough one. I'm going to say no, only because I feel like getting Tua at 5 is pretty solid. I feel like, we could definitely use our other 2 number 1s. I think we have like the 18th pick and the 26th. I think Tua's a good first round pick. I'm super impressed with Joe Burrow, but I really like the way Tua throws the deep ball and the way, he commands his team. I think I'm okay with getting Tua, to be honest with you.
Now, who would you do better with in FPF, Tua or Joe Burrow as your quarterback in FPF?
Oh, wow. I'm
I
going
would
to
take
say
Tua right-handed in the FPF.
No, I'm going to say Tua left-handed because Peeze is left-handed. We have a good connection.
There we go. It's true. The guy who's never complained about that left-handed spiral because it never spirals. But so you play on a team with Vincent Benjamin and take over. We know both of you guys very well. Obviously, both of you guys very good at tracking the ball in the air. What are 3 things you're better at in FPF than Vincent Benjamin?
Oh, boy.
See what I did there with the asshole question?
Yeah, okay. Damn. I hope Vince isn't listening.
Oh, he's
I
listening.
guess, okay, I guess one of them, I guess maybe I'll say route running. Oh, God, this is tough. I sound super arrogant, but I promise I'm not.
I did that on purpose.
Okay, route running, I would say connection with Ian, just because we've played together for a while. And I'd say, I guess, route running in the red zone.
So you use the same term for different scenarios.
I saw
Red
that.
zone.
I did.
Look, this takeover team has had some successful regular season runs and have come up short in the playoffs. I scorekept the game 2 weeks ago, I believe, whenever that was.
Mm-hmm.
From my position, I think this is a really well-assembled team. do you believe that this team has now what it takes to go even further and perhaps finally win you and many others on that roster the first FPF title?
I think so. Honestly, I really do think so. I think that this team is very well-rounded. I know oftentimes Peeze and you guys talk about like Vince and I, but this team honestly is stacked all around. We have like Julian Wilson. I find a very underrated player on offense and defense. Our signal caller. Ian's obviously a great QB. He's won QB of the year before. He's been an All-Star twice. We have Ryan Dobbs-Garnett, who has great hands. We have the other Vince Hamel, who's almost as fast as Vincent Benjamin. And we have our snapper Sandro, Brisson. We just have a bunch of weapons on this team, and I feel like this is the year that hopefully we could finally get it done. I know there's a lot of good competition in 4B, but for the last 2 years we lost in the semifinals. But I think at this point, honestly, we're our own worst enemies. But I definitely do think that we have the talent to bring it home.
Well, when you look at your division, it is a death row of teams, top and bottom, right? Teams above you and below you. You got the Grokok, Backwood Boys above you right now, Mongoose below you, Flip not too far away, Sheriff 2-2. Mm-hmm. How tough is this division? Because this might be one of those where 7 wins could be enough to get you a top 2 seed going into the playoffs.
Yeah, no, it's honestly because right now I'm looking at it. We're third at 3-1, and then we have Backwood Boys at 2 with 3-1, and Legal Cock undefeated at 4-0. It's honestly a very good division. We Mongoose is right under us, like you said, and they beat us. They beat us in the shootout. They have a very, very good team. Friends in low places, we just beat this past week, but they have a great team, a great QB in Danny Demore. Then you have the Sheriff, freshman, and honestly, I think it's a great division. I think Conference A is also good, but I feel like the top 5 or 6 teams in Conference B, any of them could finish first place by the end of the year in the conference. So I think it's going to be really tight up to week 11.
You guys beat Friends in Low Places, as you just mentioned. You got Danny Demore to throw 3 interceptions. He's one of the most gifted passers, most of the gifted players in this division. What is it that you were able to see and take away in order to get him to make those mistakes?
Yeah, honestly, it was our first and second game of the season. We didn't have Jonathan Brisson. He played in our third game against Mongoose, where we didn't play well defensively, but he was there for our last game against Friends in Low Places, and he single-handedly got all 3 of the interceptions. I think it had to do a lot with the rushing job by Sandro Archero and by Vincent Hamel. But Brisson is a very good player. I think you look at him, he doesn't seem very athletic, but he has great hands. He's very good at reading the quarterback, and he's just smart. He knows what to do in certain situations. And I feel like there's times QBs want to test him, but, in this time he got tested a few too many times, and he made Danny pay for it. But look, Danny was accurate most of the game, but Brisson just made a couple of great plays.
So, you're in the red zone. You get your route. Do you know it's a touchdown? Do you go, my God, I'm going to score a touchdown on this route that I've been given? Yes or no?
If Ian throws it to me, I think so. Because we're pretty good on one of our plays. I won't really mention which one it is because Ian would kill me. But I think so. I think we have it. But like I said, there's so many guys on this team that are a threat in the red zone. And I feel like it's not just up to 1 or 2 guys. So if we're scoring touchdowns in the red zone and it's not me punching it in, I'm perfectly okay with that as long as we're scoring.
I will say it was one time, Will, in our 5V game where I knew it was going to be a touchdown when you were matched up in man against Eagle. It was a bad decision by Eagle.
Well, when you look at this team now, how disappointed would you be if you guys don't win it this year?
I think we'd be even more disappointed because we've come so close. I know that sounds weird, but we've tasted the semifinals for back-to-back years now, and we just finally want to know what it feels like to be in the finals, to have the game recorded and all that good stuff. I really do feel like we have the talent on this team. Ian, like I said, he's only getting better as a quarterback. He's hit the gym, so his deep balls have been phenomenal, falling right in our laps. Defensively, I think that we're solid. I think that we have a lot of underrated guys on the team, like I mentioned before. And I feel like this team really plays for each other. Like I said before, I feel like everyone has the same mentality I do, whereas if it's not me scoring the touchdown or Vince or anybody else. We're fine as long as we're winning games. And I think that's what's been great and what's helped us so far is we're really a team and we have great chemistry together. So I think anything short of a championship run would be quite disappointing, yeah.
So what I'm hearing is you'd rather either miss the playoffs or lose in the first round than lose in the semifinals.
If it means losing again in the semifinals this year, I'll take finishing the season 3-7 and not going to the playoffs.
So let me ask you this question: Would you be more disappointed not to win now, or the Dolphins taking Andrew Thomas as opposed to Tua at number 5?
Oh wow, I'm not even sure who Thomas is, to be honest with you.
Lineman from Georgia.
Okay, so yeah, so no, I'm gonna say I'd be more disappointed if we didn't make it to the finals because I'm gonna say more for the players on our team. You know, I love my Dolphins, but I want to get this championship from our boys and Ian especially. So
Also,
I'm gonna go with that one there.
What Mo doesn't realize, Will, is if you're a Dolphins fan, they've already beaten the fandom out of you, because we wouldn't be surprised with them making another terrible draft pick. So what's one more terrible draft pick? What's one more wasted season on a pantheon of awful?
Nirvana.
Are you 100%? I wouldn't even be surprised if they take a kicker at number 5 this year.
Yeah. Well, there's some good kickers. Rodrigo, baby.
Yeah, that is true.
Most seasons you're playing on multiple teams, either Division 6, 5, 4. I think you've dabbled in 3 once, EDC type of thing. Do you find there's a big difference between the divisions in terms of the players that are in it, or can you potentially look at a Division 5 or 6 team where you go, these guys can actually compete with the higher ones? And what advice would you give for teams that are kind of worried about moving up and getting crushed?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think, to be honest, I was worried about being in 4B this year because with TakeOver, we've been in 5B for the last 3 years. And I feel like, there definitely is a bit of a jump. But you get used to it, right? Because there's other teams that jump with you. Like Legal Cock jumped with us. Like other teams like Mongoose, a type of team like that. So I think that it's only normal to be a bit like nervous at first to join the higher divisions. But I feel like once you get used to it, like, look, you're all like around the same caliber. You all have the same cap. So there's nothing really to be like too nervous or to overthink it really. And I feel like I think I noticed it this spring in Div C actually, where these. I think it's more just the chemistry these players have with their QBs, and the wide receivers and the routes are just absolutely phenomenal. I think in Div C was really where I noticed it, and like Div 3, I think that's where you see like the better athletes playing. But I guess something I give advice to new teams that want to jump a division, I'd say, try it. A lot of times, it may not work out. You may have a rough season at first. But I guess obviously you never really know until you try it. But like I said, there's a lot of teams that FPF does a great job of making sure these teams are well balanced. I feel like it's like that throughout most of the divisions. So I would say just remembering that you're in the league, so you're very capable of winning games, and that you're going to be matched up with teams that are similar to you. So why not go for it?
All right, Willpower, thank you so much for joining us today, and may the force be with you.
Thanks, Will.
Thanks for having me, guys.
See you soon, bud.
Thank you.
See you. Take care.
Godspeed.
How's Willpower?
Willpower. Powering his way through. Yeah, he's a big Dolphin guy like you, huh?
Yep. It just, I feel like Will's like, what? How many years younger is he than me? Like 12?
20.
Yeah, whatever. But like, I recognize myself in Will. Like, yeah, I used to be that devoted a fan until the Dolphins just ruined all of that.
Oh, no. Dolphins made you cry.
Every time. Me and Hootie, man.
What about the
Darius
Blowfish?
Rucker. By the way, what, like...
He's a big South Carolina fan, by the way.
Wait, he's from South Carolina.
Yeah, that's right.
One of the least precedented things was the dude from Hootie and the Blowfish becoming a premier country star.
Yeah.
You
very
can't
successful.
take a step in Nashville without hearing a Darius Rucker song.
Yeah, he's very popular.
He's awesome.
Very popular.
He's awesome.
In the U.S. All right, Div 1, Div 2. The week that was, let's dive into that. We have about 20 minutes left in the show. Games that caught my attention that I saw. Goskill's DA's Finest. No love lost for these two teams. Very chippy affair. Finest winning this game 44-32. Keyshawn Thompson finding the fountain of youth. 4 touchdown grabs.
Was it just because of all the stuff we said about him last week?
Yeah, it could be, perhaps.
Um,
But no Jared Taylor, by the way, and no Jeremy Murphy for God Scales.
but Goskill's coming down a little bit to earth, I guess. I know not having everyone in the roster, but we thought they might have been able to match up either way with DA Finest, and that wasn't the case.
No, it wasn't. But I just thought Shintomo brothers kind of got off their games when Kareem Burnett and Keyshawn started to trash talk them, and that's the same thing. They're talented, the Shintomo brothers, but once they get revved up with the talking, they just forget about everything else, and they just go off course, and it cost them this game.
Kevin Wyeth has had perfect games in the past. Notably, once he did so in the finals. You and I were there.
Yes, that's right.
But
No, he missed an extra point, but it doesn't count.
back then we didn't track that. 21 for 23, maybe falling off the cliff a little bit.
Well, only
He had two completions. I mean, come on.
206 yards passing, which isn't really that much.
Jeez, just
but-
maybe step it up next time.
No, but I still think when you look at this God Skills team, they have good talent. I think the Finals are just a bad matchup for them. The Finals are not a good matchup for them. And
But is it because of the trash talking, or
yeah, I think so. I think
Okay.
Keyshawn kind of got revved up by it, and that's Keyshawn Thompson, that is, and that was it for them in the game against Finest.
the game of the year in FPF for the 2020 year took place already. The rest of the games can ignore themselves. Flagmasac versus Braves, 107 points scored. I talked about it in my article. Again, you can see it if you haven't yet. Otherwise, we'll talk about it here. This game, both quarterbacks played virtually identically. The game essentially came down to
Extra points.
a score by Braves late. Braves went for two, got the 2-point conversion. Flagmasac scored and went for two to win the game, and were not successful. But man, that's everything you want in a football game. There's points scored all over the place, insane plays, insane grabs. Samuel Depews, Guillaume Robert went nuts. Mike Pierce actually scored that go-ahead touchdown at the end of the game. Just awesome. Like, all the players you want to be making plays were making plays. It was nonstop offense. Just an incredible game by two of the league's premier passers, and Alex Nadeau-Pews and Jonathan Mayer.
Okay, so you see this. Who is the better team right now? You still think the Braves? If they were to play each other again next week, would you take the Braves over the Flagmasac?
After this week, I'm less sure of that, to be honest, because Flagmasac looked every bit as good as Braves. And they took that loss. But I do think Braves have the best roster in FPF right now. That's it. Flagmasac, they're at 2-2. It's been a bit of a tough start. They took losses to DA Finest and to Braves. So we hope that at some point we can see them beat one of the top end teams, because they face You Can't Sit With Us and then DA Finest in the next 2 weeks, and that'll give us an
It should
idea
create some
of whether or
sort
not they belong.
separation. Yeah, it'll be some sort of separation Div 1 now, because there's a
Unless
cluster of
again,
teams.
if they split those games and we have no information.
Oh man, I hope they go like
if they
5
lose to
and 5.
Finest and beat You Can't Sit With Us, like Div 1's up in the air, which is what we want, by the way.
I hope there's like 5 and 5 teams. Like there's all the teams are 5 and 5.
Well, that's what we've wanted from Div 1 for a long time, right? So like it's cool that might actually be what we get, is true parity.
Well, AP Test and AP Test ABC will be close behind.
Yeah.
Better than STL. Hey-oh.
Yeah, see how unlucky. I don't
What's
know.
going on? Is it just
I
the
spoke
new
up the
additions are just not working, or
Well, it's
I
also
just-
Dylan Taylor's first season Div 1.
Yeah.
Give him a second, right? Like, it's his first 4 games in the division, and they lost by a point to You Can't Sit With Us, which Mo will tell us about right now.
Yeah, I mean, look, some bad throws early on. You Can't Sit With Us had some calls maybe going their way. You know, some people might think that's the way it was. The refereeing was not that great for both sides. But I thought both quarterbacks were good. The only mistake was Dylan Taylor that resulted in a turnover that went for points for You Can't Sit With Us, and they ended up winning by 1. But also James O'Ham back in the lineup for You Can't Sit With Us, which brings a different element for Hollowak's offense. Theo Jet, they got to figure out how to use him better than what they've done so far on STL. He's just been underutilized, and I feel like he's been lost in the process here because you have a guy who can kill teams at any given moment. So I think Theo's has to be utilized better. But the reality is, you can't sit with us picked on Ryan Perry the entire time. And that was evident in the play calling from Alex Hallwack. And they used his side and used wherever he was lined up as being the difference maker and why they won that football game.
Were you surprised the fact that You Can't Sit With Us couldn't score more often on STL?
I think You Can't Sit With Us kind of played down to STL a little bit. If you look at You Can't Sit With Us' schedule so far, they played up to the Braves, they won that game. They played down to God Scales, they lost that game. They played up to the Defiance, they won that football game. But this game, they got lucky. And now we got Flag Sac coming up on the 3rd next Monday at Hebert. I think they do play up to this team. I think.
How many points are going to be scored in that game? Because
what's the line right now? 100? No, it's too
Well,
high.
I
It's
mean-
too high. 95.
Yeah, I think 95 is a good number.
95 and a half. 95 and a half.
I'll take the over.
I'll take the under.
Life's too short to take the under.
Take the under.
You gotta always be cheering for points.
No, there's going to be a lot of points. I don't discredit this game at all. I just think that it's going to be under right now for this matchup. But in Div 2, no cap against the Studs. No Sam Karan in this game. So no cap really feasted on Sam Karanless quarterback play as Jimmy Lee Janvier almost had a near perfect game, 5 TDs, 19 to 22. And if you look at the quarterback defensive stats here, Eagle, Wiedens Alexander had a monster game both sides of the football here. 5 sacks and 1 touchdown. This kid is legit. He's real deal.
Jared Taylor 2 pick sixes though. Don't forget.
Yeah, Jared Taylor with a huge game himself. But the reality was they were going nowhere this says without Sam Karan. He was not there on Monday nights.
But like on the no cap side, I think Jimmy Lee Janvier may not be entirely ready to play at this level. He had a great game though. Like we'll definitely give him credit for that. But I do like him, and I think he's going to improve quickly. He's more athletic than he looks. He's got very quick feet. He can buy time against most rushers, and he can reposition his feet and make go through all of his reads very quickly. For that, his ability to make the read, turn his feet, and make the throws very, very impressive. And I'm very impressed with the level of talent from what I've seen so far.
Before I answer that point, Eagle, make sure you get Faizan Manoir on the phone call for 35. Perfect. When you look at Jimmy Lee, there's a lot of drop balls. I mean, the 3 drop balls he had could have gone for touchdowns. But that's the thing about this team, though, no cap. They have so much talent to work with, but they just sometimes don't care. And they're a detriment to themselves when they don't want to buy into saying, hey, if we put all of our chips in one basket, we can
I
win
think
this
that's
game.
just the lack of focus that comes from a lot of these guys not having played in this division yet. I don't think it's necessarily a personality issue. I think it's more just that's the way that the inexperience is manifesting itself.
All right, on to the questions here before we get to over 35. Mention the name Wiedens Alexander and what he's done so far. Would he be an early candidate as Defensive Player of the Year with his 5+ sacks? And not many rushers win Defensive Player of the Year.
Well, he got 5 sacks in this game.
That's right.
So it helps. It helps to have a big game like that. Definitely going to pad the stats. I will say that often when Simon's single-handedly choosing the winners of the awards and who makes the All-Star games with no input from anybody else because he's stubborn, I will say that he insists that he looks at where the stats come from and if there's a large distribution or not. But look, I mean, he's had of the 4 games, he's gotten a sack in 3 of the 4 games.
Yeah.
And he's got an interception in the game where he didn't get a sack.
Yeah.
So it's impressive. He's definitely making a case for himself, and he's a phenomenal player.
In 2 weeks' time, we'll have #NR against Taco Tuesday. Would you prefer the high-powered offense of No Regard or the stingy defense of Taco Tuesday?
Well, Give me points. Always give me points. I like hashtag NR. We talked about it last week that we thought this is one of the better hashtag NR rosters we've seen. When do they face each other?
2 weeks from now.
2 weeks from now. That'll be a good game. That's if I have any sway on game of the week, which I don't, that's a game I would push for game of the week. It'd be fun to watch.
This could be your final, but I think both teams have some issues. I think the lack of depth for Norgard could catch up to them. I think they're depth dependent, and I think for Taco Tuesday, we know what the issue is, which we won't go beat the dead horse again. If they can get,
but where's the lack of depth?
When I say lack of depth, is the number of roster guys, right? If they are 7 guys, maybe 8 if they're lucky, and I think that's where they have to make sure guys.
Well,
come out.
they have 8 guys with at least 3 games played.
Right, but there's some guys who've been missing. And like Corey Packer missed the first game of the year. Fred Dupuis played that game. Right? You don't want your key quarterback to not be there in the most important games of the season.
But it doesn't matter in regular season. If you have your best 8 or 9 guys in the playoffs, that won't matter.
Yeah, but you never know with these guys, right? I wonder if they have a trip for Miami lined up if they win. Remember they went to Miami 2 years ago?
Yes.
And that caused quite the ripple in that team, actually.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I did. But Taco Tuesday has a really good defense. Really good. They attack the football with great confidence. Jason Prince has been a difference maker. Pick 6 already to his name. Vinny Galano has been a lockdown player. I can't wait for that matchup, that chess matchup with this when these two teams play each other in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I agree. I'm excited to see it. Sean Abrams playing really well as well. And it's a Taco Tuesday's got a talented roster. Like Justin McLean, Chris Miard, AJ Gomes, Isaiah Lard. That's everything. That's size, that's speed, that's reliable
Everything
hands.
you would imagine.
Everything you want on offense, they got it.
Yeah, absolutely. Underachievers 2.0. Top tier team or a rest of the pack team?
Well, their name would have you believe that they underachieve more. So maybe not top tier, just based on name alone. They're 2-2. I think they're about that. I think they're about middle of the pack. I think, it's a 10-game season. 4 games is not a huge sample size, but it's almost a halfway point. I think it's a team that's got solid pieces, and I think it's a team that lacks guys who've played at this level and guys who maybe we don't know whether or not they truly can compete at this level. So, in the end, a lot of it will come down to Dylan Taylor's play and his ability to protect the football. His 7 interceptions at this point is kind of high.
Right.
So that kind of worries me. But I think they're a middle-of-the-pack team, and that's what they've shown so far.
Yes,
That's what they've been.
They have hashtag NR, lightweight, no cap, a repeat of Killer Bees, Taco Tuesday, and Lay Studs on their schedule. I think looking at that, going 500 would be acceptable.
So it'd be a 5-5 team.
Yeah. Because
I think that's
you're
right.
going to be lightweight. You're likely going to beat Lay Stud. You're probably going to lose to hashtag NR and no cap. Taco Tuesday is going to be a tough one, and I think Killer Bees is the one where you can go either way. So you end up being 500 or 2-4.
No, they'll be Killer Bees, I think.
Well, they lost last time.
And I don't know if they'll beat Leicester. Leicester, don't forget, they had an extra loss without Sam Cajon.
Yeah.
And they lost to Leicester only lost to hashtag NR in week 1 by 2 points, right? So they're a team that easily could have been 3-1.
All right, quickly, Peeze, let's get to your bandwagon Div 1, Div 2 finals pick for this week.
Moe, my bandwagon. Which one do you want first?
Div 2.
Div 2, I'm going to say it. Les Studs should be 3-1. They know it. They're going to come back from the 1-3. They're going to bounce back. Sam Caron will be there, absolutely. And they're going to, in order for them to be in the finals, they will have to face another middle-of-the-pack team because they're going to have to run through the gambit because they'll probably be a lower tier team. So because of that fact, BYOB, you're my next guy, my next runner-up.
All right, and your bandwagon Div 1 finals.
Well, I feel like this is going to be the same pretty much all the time because there's not that many teams, but let's do it anyway. Flying Well Sack, I love what I saw. Bandwagon 100%. Braves, you might have been my bandwagon team last time. You're my bandwagon team again. Bandwagon of love. Don't know what that means.
Neither do I. Faizan Mounir is going to join us.
We're getting Faizan. We're going to find out what's going on. 35 plus right now.
or whenever he answers, if he answers.
One way or another, we're gonna scream at somebody.
Are we just gonna? You're supposed to. They can't hear the ringing.
I know.
This is the quality content our viewers expect.
Yeah, call
And
someone
listeners,
Dashlane,
don't
please.
forget the listeners.
Listeners, call.
Munawar.
You know,
Hey,
Faizan, we
where
call
are
you
you?
for your input.
What's going on in the
Hey,
scores?
like, come on.
Are you
I
gonna field
gave
one or
you
You know
field
how
two?
hard the show is to do on Thursdays?
What's
when
going on?
35 plus is Thursday
We're
night.
trying to figure
It's
out what's
terrible.
going on in the games right now. Who's scored touchdowns?
Seriously,
right now?
what do you, Simon
Is it
Dajne?
45-32
You
yet?
think you take a night
Is it
off
5
whenever you
plays
want?
off?
Just, well, how about you
What's going on
communicate? How about you
midfield now?
communicate? Be a better communicator.
Okay, bye. Poor guy.
He's gonna be like, what the bleep was that?
Thank you, Faizan, for coming on the show.
Thank you. Great job by you. Insights. Well done. Call Simon Dashlane for us, please.
Do you actually want to call someone else?
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Come on.
All right, sure.
And while we're at it,
And then we'll talk about games that happened a week ago.
yeah, exactly. Which I honestly I thought.
But they can't hear the ringtone. Can you please talk?
We're
Fill
bobbing
the
our heads.
void.
We're bobbing our heads.
Bob, audio viewers can't see you bobbing your
Simon
head.
Dajne up next.
No, he's absolutely not up next.
Call Faizan again, please.
I will, but first we got to leave Simon the voicemail. Because why leave one when you can leave 5?
Veuillez laisser votre message après le signal sonore. Après avoir laissé un message, vous pouvez raccrocher ou appuyer sur le carré pour entendre plus d'options.
Yo,
Yo,
it's
where
not
are you,
complicated.
bro?
How do you not know by this
I'm
time?
calling
I
you,
just want to ask you
bro.
what you're wearing. I
What
just
the
want to know what you're
bleep is
wearing.
happening,
Like,
bro?
are we wearing the same thing?
Did you vote?
Does one of us need to go home and change? Are you home? Can you
semi-sweet
change?
chocolate
Just
chunk?
change. Just
Yes?
change for once in your life. Change comes from within.
Come on. Give us a call.
All right, 35 plus.
Yeah. Starting as it always does.
Yeah, we got like 3 minutes left in the show.
Old Age Outlaws back to their winning ways.
Thoughts on them? See, here's the thing though. Who's the last team to lose a game? Will it be Old Age Outlaws or FPF?
Sorry?
Or OAS.
Yeah, or OAS.
I don't think OAS is losing a game. So let's say FPF because they have a crappy name. Your analysis?
I think OAS will go undefeated. This is a far superior talented team.
The
but
Division 4 team, right, Eagle?
yeah, I think Old Age Outlaws will.
They did not like that, by the way.
Not at all.
Why?
And I got
Why?
shit
I
for it.
wonder
I'm like,
why.
I didn't say that.
Why are they so
And
sensitive?
in the clip, you can hear me say,
Yeah, oh no, they're way better than that. They're
yeah.
at least a different.
But I got shit for the thing you said.
I know. That's my favorite.
Why are they so sensitive though?
I don't know. They're old. Old people are sensitive to everything. They're sensitive to light, to aches and pains, to mixing medications, to losing memory. That's all the things that they're dealing with all at once.
That's the worst.
But yeah,
Yeah, 3-0.
great game by Old Age Outlaws.
Faizan Munawar.
Aw.
Faizan didn't answer once again. But yeah, I'm Preston how thoroughly they beat down pacemakers. Jason Rossi could not keep pace, only thrown for 2 touchdowns in this game. A little bit surprising considering his ability. We talked to Jenikovszky earlier in the show. You got it in my head now about his name. I've never gotten that name wrong before. Jenikovszky was saying that they got they hit a little bit of a bump, but he has faith playing with Jason Rossi.
Sean Avery plays in this league, correct?
Sean Avery plays in this league as well. He's old.
Does he have a better chance to win in this league or with his Div 2 team?
I like Taco Tuesday, man. I like Div 2. But there's less teams here, so mathematically he has more chance of winning here.
Eagle?
I mean, yeah, exactly to Pease's point. I mean, here you don't have to beat as many people to get to the finals. You can make a lot more mistakes because everyone makes playoffs as well. So if you get on a losing streak, it doesn't really matter. So it's probably more likely in 35 plus, but I think he's gonna want to win the Div 2 title more.
Now, are they part of finals weekend? These
No, 35 plus is in a different time because they'll do their final on the Thursday night pretty much and everything. So it's an entirely different structure. Co-ed 1, 2, and women's are all going to be our.
No, I knew. I just wanted to verify on 35 plus because they've always been their own North Korea, right?
The island of North Korea.
The island of North Korea is.
Eugene McLaren had a great game for Pizzazz. He hit Rob Allen for 3 of his 6 touchdowns. Rob Allen's a guy that not a lot of like FPF players of today will remember.
No.
But insanely talented, oddly tall, and giant Adam's apple.
I once played against him, and I was like, "This is going to be terrible."
It was terrible.
GM Cloretos loves him.
He's a great guy.
Yeah,
great
great
athlete.
guy. Great athlete. Good angle.
Yeah, but like GM, I swear GM has the opposite of Alzheimer's. Like, I guess no, it is Alzheimer's. He only remembers things from his past. So, like, so the thing is that like he doesn't know new players or remember the performances of new players. He just remembers things that happened.
West Island guys he remembers.
Yeah, he's
Oh,
like the
West Island
Simo,
guys.
like Simo is the French players. He's that with West Island guys.
New
Although
Ontario guys.
I got a sweet spot for my EastEnders. Dan Lazara, I got you, bro.
Nimrod says Old Age Outlaws versus Pacemakers in the final.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that happening.
Okay, we'll try this one more time before we sign off. If we get Faizan.
We're going to try Faizan, yeah. So basically, he was in between games.
Yes, sir.
Hey!
Faizan, how's it going,
Faizan,
buddy?
What's happening, brother?
What's going on, man?
Not much. Tell us, bore us right now with the 35 plus. What is going on right now in your neck of the woods?
Oh man, we just had a draw. It came down to the wire, draw game.
So Grumpy Old X-Men Pizzazz tied.
Oh man, old
Sorry?
people are the worst.
No,
Was
this is Wolfpack and Llamas in Pajamas tied.
That's not 35
Okay,
plus.
so not 35 plus. Have you seen any 35 plus tonight?
Yeah, I saw OS and Old Age Outlaws.
How was that game? That must have been fireworks.
Oh,
now.
that was amazing. Our boy Kevin White went on fire. He came up top 34-12 against Old Age Outlaws.
Oof.
Oh boy.
He was
White,
zipping it left, right, center.
Kevin White was throwing for OAS?
He was throwing for OS, exactly.
That'll do it then, yeah.
That will.
Poor Nimrod.
That makes it a different kind of game.
Oh boy. I know they weren't on your field, but did you see MTL Spitfire against Pacemakers or no?
I do not. They're all the way at field 3.
So what the hell are you doing then?
Come on, Faizan. Step it up.
All right,
Do you get like sleepy watching 35 plus?
Why do you hate 35 plus?
Because it's like it's
They're the same players who play in FPF.
I know.
Usually in higher divisions.
I know, but I think fun.
Do you get sleepy though? Answer the question, Faizan. You're not off the hook.
Yes, sir. Hold on. There's a play running.
I don't care for the play.
40-yard bomb.
From who to who?
Yeah, tell us. Give us the play.
We got zone 6 ballers. Gensley threw it all the way to number 10, Matthew Valente.
Oh,
40-yard bomb.
Valente. Oh,
Great
yeah.
catch,
Oh,
baby.
yeah, nice
Great
catch.
catch, Matthew.
You think he's
We got
young and
6'6"
old
over
enough to
here.
play 35 plus?
6-6 early on. By the way, before we let you go, who do you got Sunday? San Fran or KC?
KC, Patrick Mahomey.
Have a good night,
Mahomey all the
Faizan.
way.
Thanks for answering the phone. Talk to you soon.
All right. And we never had
I'm
this
sorry for the
conversation.
voicemail.
Yeah.
Don't check your voicemail.
Yeah, just disregard it when you get home. Okay.
So this is going to become a regular thing, clearly. So I'm just going to start scripting all my outros at this point. Thank you to our guests this week, Nimrod Jenikovszky, Tam Vilaydeth, and William Power. Great insights across all the different divisions. Thank you to Moe and Peeze for showing up and saying words for 3 hours. Thank you to Faizan for giving us a quick update on what's going on in Bay Dirt Fate tonight. No thank you to Simon Dagenet for not answering his phone yet again.
Useless as always.
No show next week. We'll be back in 2 weeks.
Yeah, so next week we're going to have
We're doing our show.
We're
but
doing
not this
something
one.
for Hall of Fame. We'll figure it out. We'll let you guys know. If you have games on Monday or Wednesday, we'll do a quick recap the week after. I guess that'll kind of summarize it. But yeah, enjoy yourselves a Super Bowl Sunday. Good night.
Miami.
Bye.